see you. Roya, hey, nice to see you. Can you guys hear me okay?
First up.
Hey, you want to do a social? Are you okay being live for my YouTube channel?
Yeah, I don't mind. That's fine.
Can you come a little bit closer?
How many followers do you have?
Like 3,000. Can you
Okay.
come a little bit closer
Are
so that you're in
Tell me
view?
what I have to do first.
I just ask you some questions, that's it. What's your name, by the way?
My name is Eric.
Eric, nice
Yeah.
to meet you, Eric. I'm Chip. Where
Hey,
are you
Chip.
from?
Nice to meet you. Well, I live in Maastricht,
Yeah.
but originally from Seattle in the
Oh,
United
okay.
States. Yeah.
Nice. Okay, so Eric, how do you feel about animals?
Well, I actually I don't draw a distinction if you're talking animals versus humans.
Yeah.
There's no distinction for me.
I don't necessarily am talking about animals versus humans, but it's good to know that there's no distinction between them.
No.
Okay, then how do you feel about animal exploitation? Do you think animals, because I was going to ask if you believe animals deserve moral consideration, but considering you say there's no distinction, I would... it's safe
As
for me
much
to-
as humans deserve moral distinction. Yeah.
Okay. And do you think, is it okay to exploit animals?
Well, exploitation obviously has some judgment that goes along with it. What's exploiting? What's leveraging?
Yeah.
But so no, I don't. I think
Do you think objectifying animals, is that something that is
do you
moral?
have an example of objectifying an animal?
Yeah, like, I don't know, what we do to them in animal agriculture, for example.
Okay. No, I do not agree with that. Yeah.
You do not agree with that. Okay.
Yeah.
So I jumped to the point. I didn't want to
Okay.
jump to the whole point.
That's
But the whole point of it is trying to get you. I first want to establish some moral baselines.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
as far as I understand, your morals say that it's wrong to exploit animals. It's wrong to treat animals like objects. But then, do you participate? Do you contribute? Do you spend money? Do you give money to animal agriculture?
I likely do. In fact, I just had a Thai curry soup with chicken in it.
Yeah.
So I'm also a realist as to why our teeth are shaped certain ways, which is to chew through flesh as well.
Why should that matter, right? Like, because if my hand is made to it can make a perfect fist where I can punch people with it,
It's a really good
doesn't
point.
necessarily mean that
you
I should. Yeah.
That's right. No, I'm just talking about our 400,000 years of momentum and history has led us to, yes, now we have a brain that's fully developed and we can make some choices and
Yeah.
we can feed ourselves and feed the world without exploiting animals. So,
Exactly.
yeah.
So
And I'm trying to get better at that.
You're trying to get
Yeah,
better at that, right? Because that's my whole point, right? If
Yeah.
your morals say that it's wrong to do this to animals, how can you leverage your morals being one thing and your actions
Yeah.
saying another thing?
Yeah, well, because we're humans and we're imperfect, and we all wallow in hypocrisy to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Which, is one of the most distasteful aspects of humans, and I do it myself.
Yeah,
But,
and obviously I don't necessarily blame I don't blame you necessarily for it, because right, these in industries have a financial incentive to keep it this way,
Yeah.
to keep you disconnected from the animals, from all of it, right?
Yeah.
They show you a
right.
neatly packaged
I think
product.
if you're going to eat meat, you need to be able to go butcher it humanely, and skin it and cook it.
Sure, you can say that,
yeah.
but I believe that there is no reason to do that anyway, right? Like,
Yeah.
morally speaking, we don't need to exploit animals. We don't need to use them as products for food, for clothing, for entertainment, right?
So now
So when we make these choices, we make choices ourselves where we readily objectify an animal without
Yeah.
any need.
Yeah.
Isn't that wrong?
I would agree with that. So I'll leave you this, and then I got to go and get on with
Yeah.
our day because the sun is waning. When you take animal to animal, so take a cat, you can't make a cat vegan; it'll kill it.
Yeah.
So I don't necessarily need an answer, but I'll leave you with that.
Yeah.
Since we're just all part of the animals, and there are animals that can't go vegan without dying and perishing.
But we're not those animals.
No, I know we're not.
you know?
We're not. But
and
but
we
how do
when we're
you-
moral agents, they're moral
Yeah.
patients. You know, there's a difference.
Agreed.
Like, I wouldn't expect necessarily a child to know exactly what to do.
Yeah.
Like, if a child were to be given meat and they eat meat, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But as adults, we kind of have a moral responsibility to know where our food comes from, to
Yeah.
know what we're paying for, especially in cases when we're kind of aware, because everybody's kind of aware that an animal died for that food.
Yeah.
We're all kind of aware that those animals are sentient, that they did not want to die. So it's our responsibility to know what we want to do. And because you say you want to go on, keep
Yeah,
it
we have to
longer.
go,
Just
yeah.
one final question:
Yeah.
how many more animals should be exploited for you before you make a change?
Oh, it'll probably be between.
How many do you want it to be?
How many do I want? I want it to be zero.
Yeah.
But I think being a realist and being honest and understanding my own level of hypocrisy, probably be between 20 and 100, unfortunately.
So that's up to a year, right?
Sure.
Let me give you a card to help you.
Okay.
So yeah, on average, a person can by going vegan can save up to 100 animals to eat per year.
Okay.
So
Excellent.
one thing you can have here, you have Challenge 22. They hook you up
Yeah.
with a nutritionist, send you recipes every day. They help you go
Okay.
vegan, all of it for free.
Okay.
And I would recommend you watch either Dominion or
Yeah.
The Most Important Speech You'll Ever
Chip,
Hear.
I really appreciate what you're doing. Okay.
Thank you.
Because
Yeah,
yes, I've
but
been
we
steering
need
my life in
changes.
this direction.
We need changes,
I understand.
okay?
I understand.
Because
Yes.
otherwise it means nothing. And your morals are on point.
You're
and,
absolutely right.
And
So, keep doing what you're doing.
thank you. Have a
Okay.
good one. Hey, Alexandra. Nice to see you. Hey, Martin. Can you guys hear me okay? It's easy to say this is fine when they are on the good side of the knife. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Actually, the weather has gotten a little bit better. In the morning, it was 0 degrees here. And now it's actually quite all right. Why is it so hard for people to put themselves in the victim point of view, asks Ariane. Ariane, I don't think it's necessarily their fault. I really do blame this on industries and them hiding everything from us. So the conversations that I have with people are only half the point, right? I do think I need to incorporate some form of video into it because people do need to see, or show some images because people do need to see what they go through. By the way, shout out to Mr. Mancakes. I never know how to pronounce it correctly, because he was the first one last time to give a comment. So there you go. We give shout outs to the people dropping the first comment. Yeah. Hey, DLTN, Grant Age, nice to see you. Today, as I said, it's not that cold. Well, it's like 4 degrees, 3 maybe right now, but it's gonna get to 4 and 5 degrees a little bit later. But I'm all suited up. I have several layers on me, both shoes, both legs, feet, everything. It's all. I'm all layered up except for my face, as you can see. So we'll survive. Rest, I agree. It's more difficult to defend when you see the video. Yeah, exactly. I feel like when you see the video, it does also kind of form a little bit of an impact on you. We kind of need that visual aspect as individuals. Like, we can have the conversations and we can try to draw some conclusions from, logic and morality, and try to explore the values that people have. But at the end of the day, videos will kind of have a strong chance of making a difference. So I do have the video on me, though. So yeah. How's everybody doing, by the way? How's life in wherever you are?
What's this about?
Just ask you some questions, that's it.
What?
I just ask you some questions, that's it.
Okay.
Are you okay being live for my YouTube channel?
I don't know.
I'm gonna need you an affirmation, otherwise I can't. Are you okay being live? Yeah.
Yes, okay.
Okay, nice. What's your name?
Tineke.
Tineka, nice to meet you. I'm Chip. Where are you from, by the way?
I live here 10 minutes walk.
Oh, okay, nice. So, how do you feel about animals?
Animals. Great invention. I'm happy that they are created.
You're happy they exist? Okay.
Yes.
Do you think animals deserve moral consideration?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Okay. How do you feel then about animal exploitation? Do you think we should have the right to exploit animals?
Till a certain extent, yes.
What do you mean to a certain extent?
Because I think for a lot of animals it's healthy to have exercise, like the dogs that are used for sleigh riding.
I literally meant exploitation. Do you know what exploitation means?
To use them for things that it's not healthy for them.
Yeah.
Yes.
And maybe against their will and for our own benefit, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how do you feel about that? Do you think?
No, that's not good.
Okay. So should humans have the right to exploit animals?
To exploit, no.
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 Okay. I appreciate that.
To use them, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
To use them, yes. To exploit them, not.
Yes.
How is that? How does that work? Because exploitation involves using.
I think we use like dogs to help invalid persons.
Yeah.
I think that's a good thing. They are a friend of the owner.
Okay.
but it's not exploitation.
I
Yeah.
mean, we can dive into that a
Yes.
little bit, but I want to ask you because there's a certain group of animals that we a lot of the times we disconsider. You know, the animals that we normally farm for food, for clothing, for entertainment. Do you think we are exploiting these animals?
Maybe.
Maybe. Do you think we're using them against their will for something that we benefit from and they don't benefit at all?
I don't know if they are not benefiting at all. If they are taken care of, it's no problem. But
So do you
the-
think killing them is okay as long as they're taken care of? Is it for their own benefit killing them?
no.
Do you think all farm animals are killed?
Um, all farm, I don't know.
Yeah, they are all killed, but a fraction of their lifespan. And babies are killed. Do you? Let me also ask you: how do you think these animals reproduce? Do you think they reproduce, or do you think we reproduce them?
Yeah, I'm afraid we are producing them.
Yeah, so we sexually exploit them, right? Because we control their sexual reproduction. We exploit them by using them for whatever it is that they give, and when they can no longer give, we kill them. Is that something that aligns with your values?
Till a certain extent.
How does it disalign with your values?
Um, yeah. It's a difficult question because everything is like, yeah, when God created people and animals, He gave the animals that we can rule over them. But it's, yeah, the actual idea was not to eat meat, only after the flood of Noah. God allowed us to eat meat because there was nothing else.
Okay.
And then
But now we have alternatives, right?
we have alternatives. I think the most alternatives that they were before the flood, like a lot of beans and mushrooms that we can use. So there are alternatives.
So nowadays, since we have alternatives, wouldn't you say it's extremely cruel to put an animal to sexually exploit an animal and then kill them?
I don't know if it is that black and white.
Why do you think it's not black and white?
Because I think the situation that God gave Noah and his family, the situation is not turned back yet.
But it's not, I don't care what happened, I don't know, thousands of years ago. What's happening today, right? Like cows, chickens, pigs are forcefully impregnated. They have their babies taken from them and killed. All of it for optional products for us. So how can we morally justify? How can we ever say that's okay? How can we ever say? Because you seem to bring out this religious argument, and I'm not personally religious, but how
I
can
understand.
how can you morally justify? How can you say that God, a compassionate being, would rather you innocently sexually exploit an innocent animal, kill them when you don't need any of it, to do it only because it's convenient or because it brings you some form of taste pleasure?
Yeah, that's indeed it is a moral issue that I think a lot of people. Yeah, you see more and more people thinking about it and
Yeah.
changing their point of view. And I think it's difficult to get everybody to think like that because we're used to live like we do.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
think
That's why. That's where I sit, right? That's why I sit on the street and try to have conversations with people because
Yes.
I want people to change their mind, right? And I'm assuming you consume animal products, and maybe you haven't thought of this perspective before. And I'm not here to judge you. I'm here to help you change. So, what is
Yes.
it that would get you to help you change to no longer oppress these animals, no longer force them into slaughterhouses and these kind of stuff?
Yeah, then I think the economy will change very, very much if we.
The
And if
economy will change.
Yeah, I think it will be.
If you change, the economy will change. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, because in Dutch we say change the world, start with yourself.
Yeah.
So if there are more people that are like focusing on what is happening with animals and like treating them better, yeah, then it might be that it might have change in afterward. And so
But
it's
do you think we
interesting
should
to-
care about the economy, or should we care about innocent sentient individuals being sent to their murder?
Mm, yeah. Uh, I think animals are very important to people and the other way around. And
Yeah. So
but it's a very huge picture, and it's difficult to do only one thing. And
But what is it
Yeah.
that you want to do? I understand, like, obviously we can get lost in the picture when we think about the whole society, everybody in the world. It can become difficult, and then we think about consequences, as you said, the economy, all this. But we know that if you change, if one individual changes, the change won't happen overnight, and the economies
No.
adapt, and
No.
societies adapt. And I believe that when a society does something wrong, we shouldn't continue doing it just because the society works that way, but rather we
No.
should try to change it, right?
Yes.
So what do you want to do about this? Do you want to continue supporting this exploitation of animals, or do you want to go vegan and never support that again?
Yeah, I'm trying to eat less meat, and also to see that. But it's difficult because they can put a sticker on the meat that the animal was treated well, but
But they were
that's
still
only a
killed, huh?
sticker.
And then it's only a
It's
sticker.
only-
You're
yeah,
right.
yeah,
It's only a sticker, and they were still killed.
You don't know.
Yeah.
So it's good that you help people to think about it. And
Do you want to see it? Because I have footage on me to see what animals go through. Have you ever seen what dairy cows go through?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I've seen some.
Yeah.
Yes.
How when you see that, how do you feel when you see that?
Yeah, it feels awkward.
It feels awkward. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that doesn't feel good.
Exactly, and I guess it doesn't feel good also when I see it personally, but at least I don't personally feel bad about it. I feel bad that it happens, and I'm trying to fight. Hence why I have conversations with people on the street about it. But at least I'm not part of it, So, do you want to be part of it, or do you not want to be part of it?
I'm not sure yet, but this conversation helps to think. It's not like one conversation can change a person.
No, of course not. It takes
But
more.
to get a snowball rolling, then it's good to have this kind of conversations to make people aware.
But here's the hard question, and I'll let you go. How many more animals should be exploited for you before you change?
I don't know.
Yeah. How many do you want?
Yeah,
It's a hard one, yeah.
Yeah, better know. But I just it's not that easy to change things in your mind.
Yeah. But do you think it's important that you do? Because when the reason why this question is so hard is because when I ask how many, we already all of a sudden consider them as individuals, and we already consider of a number, and we
Yes.
even one sounds insane, right? Because
Yes,
we
that's
don't
true.
want any
That's
of them
true.
to
That's true.
to happen. So it's like the reason why it's so hard is because, well, obviously these industries, they don't want you to see any of the shit that they go through, and they as you say, they put stickers on products, they show you a neatly clean product so that you don't think about the animal and what they went through. But that doesn't mean that it doesn't happen. It happens through closed doors, and we need to
Yes.
actively think about it. So that's why I asked this question, because it's extremely important that you yourself start actively thinking about it. Because otherwise, if you just lean on it, it's not going to change.
No, that's true. Okay.
Okay, let me give you a card, and I'll let you go. If you scan this QR code, by the way, you have a thing there called Challenge 22. They hook you up
Okay.
with a nutritionist, send you recipes every day. They help you go vegan for free, all of it. And if there's something that you that you maybe are interested in watching, it's either the Minion or the Most Important Speech You'll Ever Hear. They're also there just by scanning that QR code. They just show you what animals go through. It's important to know, I think, and to know, because about eggs, dairy, milk, we assume that we have this communion relationship with them, but it's way worse than we actually think.
I think that's about a lot of things that are going on now. It's
Yeah.
we only get the surface
Exactly.
that people want us to know, but what is really going on. Sometimes I'm glad I don't know anything.
But the real difference between this and other situations is that with this one you have alternatives, right? Like, let's say, whereas when you buy clothes, when you buy phones or other stuff, yeah,
Yes.
there's probably some awful things happening behind it. but you don't really have alternatives there, right? Like you gotta buy clothes, you gotta buy phones. You can't choose to not do those. Whereas with food, you have alternatives. You have plant-based products which don't participate in any of this, okay? And if you live here, it's so easy. You have so many nowadays in Albert Heijn, you have so many options that there's no real justification other than we gotta try it, okay?
Yes.
So you seem like a compassionate person. You're gonna
Thank
try
you.
it, okay?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Have a good one. Okay, everyone. I wasn't convinced by that conversation, but yeah. It is true, my friend, we need to stop mass farmers from tilling now and do not dig gardening. Martin says good start though. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I think most of the times when I stress about coming and doing outreach, it's either A, that my bladder is gonna be an issue, as we all know, or B, well, it's gonna be an issue. I mean, 3 hours of not going to the bathroom is enough, you know. It's pretty good. Or B, the weather, or C, that not enough people stop by. So yeah, it did start good because already 2 people stopped by, so that's pretty good, yeah. Miguel asks, do you have a DOD? I don't know what a DOD is. Hitaji asks, hi, hard question, you don't have to answer though. Do you think aborting already sentient fetus should be illegal if there are no health risks involved for the mother? No, Hitagi, it should not be illegal. So I can explain to you why it should not be illegal, because the government should not have any rights to interfere with the body autonomy of somebody, okay? Do I think it's ethical to do so? That's a different question, and it depends on the circumstances. But if you're choosing to kill a sentient fetus, as you say, and it's a choice, not something that you are put in a position where your life is at stake or something like that, then maybe it is immoral to do so. But you know, these kind of stuff shouldn't be decided by the government. They should be decided by I don't know, what do you call them, reviews? They have this reviews by medics, by doctors in hospitals. These should be decided by those people, because if we leave them up to the government, what happens is that when a woman is, or a person who is pregnant, is in a dire situation and they need an abortion in order to survive, then if it is illegal to do so for whatever reason, then no doctor will ever do it. However, if there is an ethics board, that's the real word, ethics board, then you know, they can take it up to the ethics board and within an hour have a response, right? And an ethics board is a pretty serious thing. It's not like that's the whole thing about it too, you know. Like, I feel like this is such a weird thing to get stopped by, you know, like abortion. It's such a, yeah, because people think that it is murder because we don't consider the fetuses, but we do. We think about that, of course. But there's so many other medical situations when you could theoretically consider them murder for what they do, for the procedures that they do, and those situations are not nearly discussed as much as this one, and those end up on ethical boards. So the fact that this one is taken and all of the sudden we need policies or politics involved in it is, in my opinion, ridiculous, because it is a medical procedure and government should not be involved in it. I hope that answered your question. But, you know, I'm not here to speak about necessarily abortion rights. I do believe everybody should have the right to abortion. I do believe body autonomy is extremely important. And as I said, I don't think the government should have the right to interfere with your body autonomy at any point in your life. That's it. It's pretty easy. So that's why it should not ever be illegal. Whether it's ethical or not, that's a different question. And again, it depends on the fact that it depends on the circumstances is a different thing. Hi, want to try a social? Yeah.
What are you doing?
I'm just asking some questions.
What questions?
You can see. You want to try it?
Sure.
Are you okay being live for my YouTube channel?
How live? What do you mean?
It's live on my YouTube channel. I don't know. Do you not?
No, thank you.
No? Okay. Okay. You can be off camera also, by the way. Off camera, yeah. Okay. What's your name, by the way?
Julia.
Julia, nice to meet you. I'm Chip.
Hi.
So how do you feel about animals, Julia?
Good. I like them.
You like them,
Yeah.
okay. Do you also like exploiting animals?
What do you mean?
Like using them against their will maybe and for your own benefit?
No, of course not.
No, no. Okay. Do you think there's certain industries that exploit animals that you may be part of?
Maybe, but not voluntarily.
Not voluntarily. Okay, I appreciate that. How about because a lot of the times when we think about animals, we disconsider the animals that we usually farm, like cows, chickens, pigs. Do you consume animal products?
Some, but I try to not do it as often.
Do you think that even that one time, that two time per week, I don't know how often it happens, do you think that those animals are not exploited for those products?
Perhaps.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
And when you do buy animal products, is this voluntary or involuntary?
Um, half.
Half?
Half.
In what way half?
Well, sometimes you will need some, but sometimes you don't really want to use it, but you still need it.
What is it that you need it
Well,
for?
it depends really. Really depends. Like, I don't know, in makeup there's also some stuff, but
But there's makeup without, there's cruelty-free makeup, right?
yeah, there is.
So,
Haven't found it yet.
oh, no, there it is. I think if you Google it, you can find some brands out there, but there definitely is. The question is though, like for food, for clothing, for entertainment, how is that justified? Because you always have alternatives, right? Readily available alternatives.
There are alternatives. I think it's very important to see and to check.
See and to check, and just that. Do you think that the animals care if you see and check, or do you think they
Well,
care if you
see,
make the
check,
choice?
And of course, know what's going on. I mean, there's always a bigger picture behind the whole thing.
And what's the bigger picture? Because those animals are exploited regardless, right? From their perspective, it's pretty simple. They get exploited if somebody pays for them to be exploited.
Do you consume animals?
No.
No, not at all.
No.
Good.
No. So the reason I used to consume animal products, of course, also. So I'm not here judging anything, right? I used to consume animal products also. The reason why I sit and have these conversations with people is because, just like you, I also like animals. I don't necessarily especially like animals. I just think it's extremely unfair to treat animals like objects for something that we don't actually need, right?
I think it's weird for us humans to decide what is or what isn't better and to decide for them.
So then you should be against animal agriculture, because animal agriculture literally involves us bringing them to life for the sole purpose of killing them, for the sole purpose of exploiting them and killing them. Is that?
Not a good goal. It's not my goal.
No, it's not your goal. No,
No.
and I appreciate you saying that. But when you're buying animal products, your actions say otherwise, don't they?
Yeah, but I'm trying.
Trying, yeah.
Yeah.
So where is it that you're having difficulties then? Because I would like no more animals to be exploited on your behalf. So how can we accomplish that?
Well, I think it's very personally, but I'm not quite sure.
I'm not quite sure.
No, I think there are many different ways, but yeah, I think there are many different ways by doing research and checking and, well, looking things up. But I never have the time or anything. But I think it's very important to make sure people see it's important too, and then, well, decide based on that.
So do you think you have a moral obligation to not exploit animals?
Well, that's a good question. I think we do.
Yeah. So then, don't you think then, in order to live up to your own values, your own moral obligation, it would imply that you should look up and not participate in it, or at least while you're looking up to not participate in it, because you have plant-based options. Do you live here?
I don't live here.
Do you live in the Netherlands?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have an Alberheim or any other store which has so many plant-based options nowadays that it's for us to choose anything else it's literally.
Yeah. But when you're underage, it's difficult.
Why is that?
Well, you also depend on your parents and what they do.
Do your parents choose for you what you eat? Do they force you to eat something?
No, they don't force, but it's. You understand.
I mean, I personally, my parents never forced me what I ate,
No,
so I always
they
told my
don't
parents
force
what I
you,
wanted
don't
to
get
eat.
me wrong, they don't force you.
Yeah, so then you can always have choice, right? So if your values say that it's wrong to eat animals, regardless if your parents would feed you animals, you should still say no, right? Like if your parents were to feed you dog, would you eat a dog?
No. but it really, you know, I feel very judged in the conversation, so I don't think I'm gonna persist in it. I'm sorry.
I mean, I'm not judging you, but
No, I know, but
you
I
know,
feel a tone, so
okay, but please just consider the animals. That's all I want to say. Okay? Can I give you a card to look more into it? I'm sorry if you don't like my tone. That's it is what it is. I don't necessarily always have the best tone, but I just care about the animals. That's all it is, and I hope you consider them because that's all they want. Just scan that QR code and watch one of those two, Dominion or the most important speech you'll ever hear, and learn more about it. And then I hope you don't want to be part of it. Challenge 22. They hook you up with a nutritionist, send you recipes every day. They help you go vegan for free. You just got to sign up for it, okay? Thank you. Have a good one. Tone policing, huh? Hi. I just ask you some questions, get you to think a little bit.
I love social experiments.
Are you okay being live on my YouTube channel?
Yeah. Hi guys.
Can you come a little bit closer so that you're in view? Nice. What are your names?
Magdara.
Matar?
Magdara.
Magdara. And
Yeah.
you?
Patsy.
Patty. Nice to meet you. So, how do you feel about animals?
I love animals personally, except spiders. They freak me out.
Okay. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I like animals in general, yeah.
Okay. How do you feel about I don't know, exploiting animals? Do you know what exploiting animals mean?
I do know what exploiting means and animals.
Yeah.
I don't really. It's not really a good thing to do. I feel like if we exploit animals, we should also exploit humans. Like it's not really fair.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, it's
I
not
think
fair
we should
for
treat
animals.
them as equals because we both have consciousness and we both have we both share experiences. You know. So I think it's wrong.
I love that. I love it. Well said. Okay. And so then, do you think that when we farm animals for food, for clothing, or for entertainment, do you think we're exploiting them?
I'd say so. My mom's a vegetarian now. When I'm older, I'm gonna be a vegetarian myself. I think it's.
But
the
why,
better
when
way.
you're older and not now? If you say that animals, it's not fair to do this to them, don't you want to be a fair person?
I do, but right now it's more convenient. So sorry, guys.
So do you think convenience trumps what they go through, the exploitation, the abuse, the slaughter?
It really doesn't. But I hope I may be forgiven for this in the future by going vegetarian myself.
And by the way, when I say vegetarian, because vegetarians still consume animal products, right? Like dairy products, right?
Eggs and stuff. Yes.
Yeah. Do you know what dairy cows go through?
Well, they be milked
But why do you think they produce milk in the first place?
to feed their babies. Correct.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. And do you think that means they have to have babies? Do you think cows decide on their own when they want to get pregnant, or do you think farmers forcefully impregnate
I
them?
think they probably exploit the cows to impregnate them.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, so that's one thing, that they forcefully impregnate them. And when the babies are born, what do you think happens to them?
They get well. I heard that sometimes the baby bulls are killed, and I just think that's really, really wrong. Like, why would you just kill a baby for no reason? At least let them grow up, like. And then they're often just like put in like cages and stuff to just like eat like seeds and stuff that they feed them. Like they're not even grass fed,
Yeah.
which I think is pretty wrong. Like I'm from Ireland, so a lot of our cows are grass fed and like cage free and everything. Like most of our animals.
Do you mind if we go, because they haven't waited for us? So we
Just
have
1
to
second,
go.
let me finish this and then I'll let you go. Okay, so what happens is that the first thing that happens is they separate it from their mothers,
Yeah.
because if they would stay with their mothers, they would drink their milk, and farmers need to control how much milk they drink because it's a product for them. You know, they sell the milk. And if the baby is born male, yes, they get killed, as you said, because they don't produce milk. Sometimes they grow up to 1 year old, and then they kill them, and sometimes they just kill them straight away. And if they're female, same as their mother, every year forcefully impregnated. And when they can no longer be impregnated with ease, they get killed. And that usually happens at a quarter of their lifespan, at the age of 6 or 7, and they can live 24, 25 years. Is that fair to you?
That isn't very fair at all.
No, but if you buy animal products, that's what you're supporting. Okay, let me just give you a card, and if you want to learn more about this, please watch the most important speech you'll ever hear, okay? It is child-friendly, okay? That's all
Alright,
you
thank
got.
you.
You just gotta scan that QR code, okay? Hey, thank you so much. Have a good one. A lot of runners today, huh? Miguel Duarte says that is not true. You just take the excess milk. Miguel, that is. I argue to please look into it, because that is not. There are farms where they feed some of the milk to them. And it's actually the opposite, where if they have excess milk, they feed it to the babies. Not that they sell the excess milk. That's insane. Because for them, again, it's a business for them. They don't really care. So there are farms where they do that, but even on those farms, they still separate the mothers from the babies, because they have to control how much milk the babies drink if they ever feed them milk. But most of the time they won't feed them milk. That's the reality, because again, it's a business. There's a very small margin of profit for anything that they produce. So it is the best and the easiest and the standard procedure across the board everywhere. And if you don't trust me, please look it up. In your country, you don't have to. Again, I'm not here sitting you. Trust me, this is what I'm saying. Look it up. That's how I became vegan, because I heard somebody say it. I didn't trust them. I looked it up myself, and I realized that is actually true. So, do the same. Get informed. And if you're going to go to a farmer and ask them, that's not going to work, because, of course, they're going to tell you whatever it is that you need to hear. Hey, Devin. Thank you. Chip, did you read the link I sent you on the World Health Organization? I don't think I did, no. Where did you send it? Yeah, Miguel, exactly as you said, go to a farmer. Yeah, farmers will tell you whatever it is that you need to hear so that you buy their product, of course. Whatever you need to hear. They're selling you something.
Where are you streaming it?
YouTube.
YouTube. What's your name?
You mean my YouTube channel?
Yes.
That's Chip Guy.
Huh?
That Chip Guy.
That shit guy.
Yeah. I think it's pretty easy, to be honest, with plant-based or not plant-based. You know, you can, of course, at the end of the day, you can try to think for yourself and say, well, you know what? There's a small chance that the farmer is actually right, that the animals, that this does not happen to animals. There's a very, very small chance that that's true. There isn't, by the way, there isn't. But I'm just trying to say from your perspective on how you're thinking, right? If you're thinking, there's a small chance that it might be true that animals are treated nicely, that they're not killed at a fraction of their lifespan. By the way, they are. They are very much killed at a fraction of their lifespan. No cow has lived up to 24 years. Nope. But let's assume that you do think that, oh, there's a small chance that the farm I go to, or whatever bullshit you have in your mind. Sorry, I don't mean to be derogatory to say bullshit. Whatever thing you have in your mind, or whatever justification you have in your mind of saying maybe this, maybe this, maybe this, right? You can at least be intellectually honest with yourself and say that even if that were the case, that's what, 0.0001% of the chances. That's such a small chance that isn't it easier to err on the side of caution and just be plant-based? Like, I'm just trying to understand this logic, because what is it that you think that you're getting by participating in this? You're just having, from your perspective, again, because from my perspective it's pretty clear what you're supporting, but from your perspective there's a high risk of you're supporting something that you're not comfortable with, and from your perspective, and there's literally almost no reward. What is the reward? Your convenience, your taste pleasure? All of these can be rectified by being plant-based. Like, do you think it's inconvenient? It's not. You can easily find convenient ways to be plant-based. Just like you found convenient ways to live in a certain city that you live in, just like you found a convenient way to sustain the diet that you're sustaining right now, right? There's ways. You just got to find that, and just got to have the motivation to live up to your own moral values, because that's what it is. And as for taste, come on. You don't like, for taste it's pretty easy, it's an easy debunkable thing. Nobody likes exactly the same things that they did as a child. And taste changes over time. You can change with taste. You just gotta ask yourself if clinging on to something that you think tastes good, because you may not even know if it's coming from other situations. You guys wanna try a social experiment? Just gotta ask yourself if that is really worth whatever animals go through. That's sexual exploitation, abuse, slaughter, all of the stuff that you may not be okay with. John, I wasn't even looking. What's your question about chicken holocaust? Too dangerous even for a vegan. Yes. Do you deny the chicken? Oh, John, no. Yeah. No, there's a chicken holocaust, of course. Yeah, I find it so. Lewis, pork sausage and mash and ox gravy tastes so good. Why? Why do you put gravy? Huh? Gravy is plant, right? Is that not? Is that not with the spices and such on it? Or how exactly? I thought it tastes so good because of the animal-based products. Or what's with the mashed potatoes? Mashed potatoes are vegan. What do you mean if you're not adding?
What kind of social experiment?
I just ask you some questions. That's it.
Okay.
You wanna try it?
Let's
Are you okay
Maybe.
being live for my YouTube channel?
It's live?
Yeah.
Okay, let's try it.
What's your name?
Hello, my name is Maciej.
Mati. Nice to meet you.
And your name, what is?
My name is Chip. Where?
Live?
Chip.
Chip,
Where are you from?
from Poland.
Poland. Okay. So how do you feel about oppression?
Oppression?
Yeah.
I don't feel oppressed.
No, but do you think do you think let me ask you this way, do you think the powerful should have the right to oppress the powerless?
I think that is the way how the society is built.
But do you think that they should have the right to oppress the powerless?
In some part, no. However, I think that sociality wouldn't work without that.
You think that society wouldn't work without the powerful oppressing the powerless?
Yes.
So let me put it this way, if somebody is more powerful than you, either intellectually or physically, do you think it's moral for them to oppress you just because they have power over you?
Yes and no.
Yes, so you would accept somebody oppressing you. You would accept somebody.
Everyone is
beating you.
oppressing us.
You would accept
Government
somebody,
is oppressing us.
somebody
many
stronger
people.
than you.
My wife is
I
oppressing
don't think
me.
you're being intellectually honest. I don't think you're being intellectually honest because would you accept somebody stronger than you
Yes.
beating the shit out of you for exercise just because they're stronger than you?
Not just for beating shit for fun or something like that.
Why?
However,
It's oppression. It's cruel or unjust treatment.
okay, so there is oppression for fun and there is for needs. That
That is not oppression.
had to be doing.
So oppression literally is the definition of it is cruel or unjust treatment or exercise of authority. It literally means having power over somebody and abusing your power over them.
Okay, but you have to look on the other side. There can be an oppression that can be made for fun because someone have really big amounts of money and he's bored and he don't know what to do in his life. And there is oppression like governments oppress us, for example,
How is the government oppressing you?
by laws.
By giving you laws?
For example,
Do you not vote?
I vote.
So does your vote not count?
Count, yes.
Okay, so then it seems to me like you're not oppressed. You have a system in place where you can change laws. You have a fair system put in place where the elected person chooses what laws are made or how they sign. I don't know exactly how it is in Poland, but there is a system in place, right, which you participate in that system and you have a right to participate in that system. There's
usually
no
it is
oppression.
that
It's not unjust.
someone is promising something you and you never have it away for you, so it's not like.
Say it again.
I mean that you're voting for someone, but however, their promises aren't usually come true. And this is some kind of oppression.
I mean, I would say that's just okay. Fair enough. You can call that oppression. But would you say that is that according to your own values? Should that happen?
No.
No. Okay. So then you agree that the powerful should not have the right to oppress the powerless. It's not whether they do or not. I'm asking you
Okay.
whether they should
Yes.
or not.
Okay, I agree with you.
Yeah. Okay. And what about in the circumstances where the powerless don't realize that they're oppressed?
And what is the question about that?
Do you think the powerful should have the right to oppress the powerless
Probably
if they
not.
don't know that they're
Probably
oppressed?
not.
No. Okay. How about if the powerful get benefit from oppressing them?
This is capitality.
But do you think they should have the right? Again, the question is, should they have
No,
the right?
they
to oppress?
shouldn't.
They shouldn't have the right. Okay, okay. I'm just trying to understand where your values sit. Okay, so you think powerful should not have the right to oppress the powerless. What about if the powerless look different?
In which way it look different?
They just look different. They have a different skin color. Maybe they have a lot of hair on their body or
Oh,
something.
okay, okay.
Would that make oppressing them okay?
No, for sure not.
What if they have a different DNA? They look so different. They're a different species. Would that be okay to oppress them?
Like some sort of aliens or something like that?
Yeah, let's assume in a laboratory they make a combination between a dog and a human and they call it the dog man. Aside from the ethical implications of creating such a species,
Probably we have some dog genes in us, so
but
whatever.
let's just assume they look exactly like a person but think like a dog. Would it be okay to oppress them?
Probably not.
No. even if they are different species than us.
For sure, if they have a mind, full set of mind.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, so then what about animals in general? Would it be okay to oppress animals?
No.
No.
But I'm not a veggie.
No, yeah. So then exactly, how do you leverage all this, considering that when you buy animal products, you are supporting a system of oppression when you don't have to?
That's why you stand next to the hot dog shop
No, I don't know where is there a hot dog shop.
over there.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I don't go there.
But
no.
it's tasty.
Okay. Well, so again, how do you leverage this according to your own values? If you say oppression is wrong, how do you leverage it when you are literally the oppressor for animals?
Those are behaviors that we are making for over of thousands of years because
So does a duration of a time
Those are-
make an action moral, even if it was immoral? So if I kick a dog every day for 1,000 years or for the rest of my life, does
it
at
won't
some
make
point-
it moral,
No.
but yes, but you'll be used to it. Yes,
You'll
I know.
be used to it,
I
yeah.
know what you're going to.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
But being used to it is a different thing, right? Like we absent-minded, we become
Okay.
absent-minded towards the problem, but that doesn't mean the problem still doesn't exist, right?
Okay, yes.
Yeah. So then that's where I come in, right? That's why I sit here and I have conversations with people where I like to bring up to their attention. Most people do have the same values as you. They share the values that it's wrong to do this to animals. But then I'm asking you, why not stop then? Why not go vegan and stop oppressing animals?
This is all about going vegan.
Yeah, well, being vegan literally means not oppressing animals.
Okay, yes.
And as a consequence, of course, you don't eat them, you don't wear their skin or stuff like that. Yeah. So why don't you want to do that? Because it sounds to me like those are your values.
The answer is very simple, because I like meat.
Okay, so do you think that is it a moral justification if a
No,
per
it's
individual
not a
with
moral
power
justification.
likes to oppress somebody with that, or likes the consequence of that they get from the oppression? Does that make the oppression justified?
Do you want to make a change?
I don't know what's that supposed to mean.
Change in the way that you will save animals from oppression and the others.
That's why I'm here. Yes.
Okay, so maybe start a lab and make a meat that will be 100% the same one-to-one like this meat that won't be oppressed.
Well, somebody's working on it. I don't have the competence to do that. But the question is,
Competence, funds, everything.
But the question is why? Yeah, funds, all that exactly. But the question is why? Nowadays we do have other alternatives, right? We do have that are pretty similar, right? You can say they're different, but the question is, do you think that difference in taste and texture, maybe, do you think that justifies the oppression that these animals go through? A whole life for an animal for 10
sure
minutes
not,
of pleasure
for sure
for
not,
you.
for sure not. I'm sure of that. I'm aware of that. But however, damn, I feel guilty because of it.
So that's a start. That's a start. That's a good start. But like, it's important that we consider this kind of situations, and it's important that we make changes because not long ago, 200 years ago, it was normal to have slaves, right?
Yes.
That didn't mean it was the right thing.
We have to go to the
Can I give you
museum.
a card to look into it?
Yes, sure.
Yeah. Don't. Only if you promise me to look into it. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So just watch either Dominion or the most important speech you'll ever hear. You gotta scan that QR
Okay.
code. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good one. It's always they always have to run when the argument goes good. Well, at least he felt guilty. Ah. And hello everyone, welcome to the stream. If you're just new here, please consider subscribing. We have these conversations pretty often. Well, pretty often, like twice or three times per week. We depend on the weather, of course. And we try to get people to think a little bit about their values, to think a little bit, to challenge their own preconceptions, and hopefully to make changes, That's what we want to do. And if you're in the chat and you're not vegan, can you please explain to me why is it that you're not vegan? Why is it that you think exploiting animals, oppressing animals is okay, right? I have these experiments live so that you also get to go through the experiment yourself, right? So that you also get to think for yourself. Should you, the person in power, have the right to oppress somebody who doesn't have power just because you get some form of benefit from it or some form of pleasure from it? Is that where your values stand? That it's okay to oppress somebody because you you get some benefit from it, or because it's convenient, or because you've been taught that way, or because we've been doing it for thousands of years, whatever taste, convenience, tradition reasons. J Moss says you need B12. You can supplement B12, no problem. In fact, you know, I've been saying this in every stream, and I'll say it again. I've been B12 deficient when I wasn't even vegan. I was B12 deficient, and I had to supplement B12. In fact, actually, I think most of the B12 is bought and sold for non-vegans. So it's not like you not being vegan all of a sudden would guarantee that you have a B12, right? So it doesn't mean anything. So again, why not? Why would you choose to force animals into slaughterhouses? Why would you choose for innocent animals to get raped, to have their babies stolen from them, to get killed at a fraction of their lifespan, when you can always choose otherwise? They cannot. Why? It's pretty easy. The new guy says it costs a lot of money. No, it doesn't. It does not. There's been 3 studies showing that it's actually much cheaper to be plant-based in Western Europe, UK, Australia, and Canada. But even if it were, let's say, I don't know, 10% more expensive, let's assume that. Do you think that the difference in price justifies taking the life of an innocent animal, exploiting them, sexually exploiting them, raping them, killing them, forcing them into slaughterhouses? Is that really where your values stand? That you'd rather pay, I don't know, $1 less and have somebody die for that? Really? Is that where your values stand? Because I don't know. My values would never say that. But hey, and I believe if price is your issue, FYI, I have several resources to help you with that. So if price is your issue, again, we can make that work. I bodybuilding and don't have a lot of money, so protein is integral for me. MTB2, MTBD2. I actually am a bodybuilder myself, and I had 130 grams of protein today alone, and I had a meal and a half, so you can definitely get enough protein on a plant-based diet. And again, if that's your issue, I can yet again, you have Challenge 22, they hook you up with a nutritionist, help you go vegan, and help you reach your macros on your budget. So you can still try it. You can still get there. You just gotta want it. That's it. It's not about, that just sounds like a justification to me, because you can do it. So what else is there? Miguel says you wouldn't last a day in a construction site. Miguel, I beg to differ. I don't really care. And plus, how is that justified? You wouldn't last a day at a construction site, therefore it's okay to exploit and slaughter innocent animals? Sure, that's an interesting logic over there. Matrons Human Rights asked me what video you reviewed in the membership live stream. So the video that I used is the 3-minute video, if that's the one that you mean, or do you mean the one with where racing dogs were being exploited? The dogs were exploited for racing. The racing dog one, I don't know the link off the top of my head. I think some of the members can check it out and place it here if they want to. But if you're talking about the 3-minute video, you have it in the footer. And actually, you know what? I urge everybody who's watching right now, if you really have the courage to do so, again, you need to have courage, because if you're squeamish, if you're like afraid to know exactly what you're supporting, then it might not be the one thing for you. But if you have the courage to do so, if you're all this manly man or whatever, why not watch the 3-minute video that's in the description of this video and see what you're supporting, and see really if that's really where your values stand. See if that's really something that you want to be part of. It's 3 minutes after all, 3 minutes after your life. That means nothing. And you can go and watch it and come back and tell me what you've thought about it. Tariq says, I take morality from God, not from society. Hey Sky, nice to have you here. You take morality from God, not from society. And your compassionate God, you say, says that it's okay to kill, to do whatever you want to animals as long as you get pleasure from it, right? Is that what your compassionate God says? I actually had a conversation just moments ago with a religious person, and maybe you would like to watch that and see what people are going through. JC420 asked me, where are you? I'm in Amsterdam, in front of the Rijksmuseum. God, all of a sudden it just got super empty. There's no people on the street. Let's see. Could you ask the next person if the life of another sentient being belongs to them? That's an interesting question. If I remember it, I'll try to ask that, yeah. I changed because of speaking to people like Chip, says the LTN. Nice to hear that, LTN, yeah. Miguel asks me, do you smoke joints? I do not smoke joints. I do smoke some weed, but I vape it. I have a vaporizer, and I just put some weed in it, and I vape from time to time. Carrots in stir fry is underrated. Hell yeah, Linda does stuff. That's a great point. Stir fry carrots are freaking amazing. If your culture was obsessed with pedophilia, would you do that too? Great question, Doggo. He follows God. You're a vegan. Why be so opinionated? I don't... because you know what? Being vegan is not an opinion, by the way. It's a logical, moral stance against animal exploitation. You know, it's pretty simple. It's as easy as if you think it's wrong to kick a dog, why would you kick a cow? It's as simple as that. Just think about it in yourself. You guys want to try a social experiment? Just ask yourself, is it okay to kick a dog? No. Then why do it to a cow? Why? Do you think cow, or I'm sorry, is it okay to put the knife to the throat of a dog? Is it? Is it okay? Do your values say that it's okay to cut the throat of a dog for something that is essentially optional to you? Because if your values say no, then perhaps you should ask yourself, why would it be different for any other animal? After all, if they're sentient, they're all kind of at the same level of cognition. So why say, yeah, one deserves love and the other deserves death? Or like, well, what's the logic there? There's no logic. So think about it. And again, don't just trust me on everything I say. Look it up yourselves. That's the whole point that we're here. We try to change opinions and to get you to think a little bit, not just listen to another authority and do what that authority says, but rather think a little bit. And don't just fight authority also. You know, listening to authority and fighting authority is just as bad if you don't have a motivation behind it, okay? You need to have some logic and some reasoning. Anybody who brings up an argument, doesn't matter who brings up an argument, you should challenge the argument, not the person. It's as easy as that. If the argument is that exploiting animals should be wrong or is wrong, think about it for yourself. Think about it. Would you sexually exploit a dog? Would you take away their babies? Would you kill their babies because they're useless to you? Would you then use their body for milk? Would you, when you can no longer impregnate them and thus not get enough milk from them, would you kill them? Well, if not, then when you buy dairy products, that's what you're supporting, but just for a different animal. You want to try a social experiment? Okay. No worries. Hey, you want to try a social experiment? Hey, Davey, nice to see you. Much transhuman right asked me what fooder. I don't know what that question means. What fooder? What's a fooder? And what does what fooder actually mean? What does that question mean? Please rephrase it. What about eggs? Those aren't animals, asks Henry. That's a good question, Henry. Eggs, so there's two types of chickens that we use in animal agriculture. There's the broiler chickens that we kill for, that we exploit and kill for meat. And then there's the egg-laying chickens, which are a different species, right? The egg-laying chickens, they all come from hatcheries. Hatcheries is literally a place where chickens hatch. You want to try a social experiment? Yeah, hi. What's your name?
Crystal.
Nice to meet you. I'm Chip. Are you okay being live from my YouTube channel?
Yeah.
Okay, so Crystal, how do you feel about animals?
Animals.
Yeah.
I don't just view them as pets, like I view them as living creatures, and I feel like they deserve to be respected.
They deserve to be
as much as
respected.
humans do, because like they're sentient and yeah.
Okay, I appreciate that. Yeah, that's a very good response. Okay, and how do you feel about exploiting animals? So do you think that's right to do?
It's not right for them. I feel like the conditions they're being put into to be bred to be eaten is wrong. But I feel like it's just been too normalized as part of the food chain. And it's just like for nutrients, but like there's other ways you can get nutrients from vegetables and other things.
Exactly. Do you consume any animal products?
Unfortunately do, but I'm trying not to. I try not to.
Okay. Is it that you're trying to be vegan, or why is it that you're trying not
So
to?
if I was cooking for myself, I normally just cook a vegetable dish with like plant-based, so no dairy, no meat. But if I was eating at someone's house and they were cooking it, then I'd still eat it.
Okay. What if they were cooking a dog? Would you eat it?
I wouldn't eat the dog, but that's the thing. They're viewed as differently, which doesn't make sense because they should all be viewed as the same. Like,
But you say that, but your view says you view them differently. It's not that they're viewed differently, you view them differently, right? So
Yes.
why do you view them differently?
I don't view them differently. It's just people see them as pets, so like.
But
they're more
you do
attached-
view them
have an
differently
attachment
because
to them.
I'm sorry for interrupting you though, but you do view them differently because you say you don't, but then you say if somebody cooks a different animal is okay, but if they cook a dog, it's not okay.
If I
So
went to different parts of the world where they eat horses and dogs, then I probably would.
so
It's
what if
part-
your friend would cook again like horses or dogs, but here? Why would that be any different?
It wouldn't be different. It would just be part of someone's culture, but I feel like it would be less likely to happen somewhere like here.
But do you think culture is a good enough justification to exploit animals?
Culture's not a good enough reason to justify it, but if it's part of someone's cultural dish, then I feel like you should try it. But just
Let me ask you this: do you think we should have the right to exploit animals?
no one should have the right to exploit animals, and I feel like that shouldn't happen. But unfortunately, people will continue to do it because of the farming industry, and people make money for it, and they want to make.
So then if you think we shouldn't have the right to exploit animals, that means you think we have the obligation to not exploit them.
Yeah, I feel like people should be obliged not to do that.
Yeah, so then doesn't that go directly against what you're saying is that when you're with your friends, then your friends cook animals, doesn't that go directly against it? Because you would say, I'm against what you're doing. So when you're participating in it, when your friends are doing it and you're participating in it, you're going against your own values, which is
That would mean
it should...
I'm contradicting myself, yes, and
Yeah.
I would be going against my own values, but my own values would be to cook differently for myself, but not to I wouldn't want to complain to them about
Why not? Why not?
I just feel like it's off-putting and people don't like it when vegans or vegetarian people force their opinion.
But what about the animals? I mean, I
Think about
understand
the
that they don't
animals.
like it, but what about those animals that suffer for that meal, you know?
The animals that suffer, like, they don't really have a choice, but like when people buy into it and like buy, obviously the more meat they buy, obviously the more animals that will be produced because of, yeah. So I don't buy them, but other people do.
Yeah, but like you could still, when you're, let's put,
I could advocate for it.
yeah, you could
but-
advocate for them not to buy it, number one. But second, if your friends do buy it and when they make food and they assume that you would be eating, they would theoretically buy a little bit more, right? So then you would be in a situation where they
Yeah,
would.
so I could just bring my own food or say that I wanted
Yeah.
a vegan option.
Yeah. So is there anything holding you back from going vegan? Because it seems like you're there, right? Well, why not go vegan directly and never exploit animals again?
I could just do that. To be fair, I do buy like meat-free products as well. So I just said that, but
Yeah, because your values are already there, right? It's just strictly about acting on your values.
as well as that, going completely vegan does make it harder to eat out. So you have to go to vegan places or places that do offer like meat-free, plant-based alternatives.
Do you live here in the Netherlands?
No, I'm from the UK.
Ah, okay. Oh, come on. But the UK also has plenty of options,
It
right?
does. Yeah, it does. To be fair.
So then in that sense, it kind of feels like you could make the switch, and if it would be a little bit more difficult, it would only be in certain situations, but then you could find a way to make it work, right?
Yeah, I could. Yeah, definitely.
So where do your values lie? Do you think it's important that you make this change so that no more animals are exploited on your behalf?
Yeah, it's more and more people now. They're just starting to realize, and they're starting to become vegan and make the right choices eventually. Yeah.
So what are you gonna do? How many more animals should be exploited on your behalf?
Maybe like this year, none, and like hopefully for the rest of my life.
I I appreciate it. Let me just give you a card. Let me give you a card before you go. Awesome. That's awesome to hear. And maybe this is something you can share with your friends. You know, the most important speech you'll ever hear. It's a really good speech, and maybe you can share it with your friends. And if not, yeah. Okay. Thank you. Have a good one. Danny Spitzer says, "Great activism." Thank you, Danny. We are here to do great activism. Amazing woman. Yeah, she was awesome, right? I think like she was great. Oh, look at that. You see the shadow of my phone on me. You see, guys? The shadow on my phone here. DMM says, name something alive, not exploited. You said links in the footer. In the description of this video. Transhuman right. I meant the link is in the description of this video. It's literally called a 3-minute video. Name something alive that's not exploited. Something that's alive and not exploited. Well, I don't know. There's plenty of things that are not exploited per se, but even I'm just trying to think. That's an interesting question. I never thought about it. Something that's alive and it's not exploited. I don't know. There's plenty of humans who are not exploited. There's plenty of that. Yeah. I haven't been exploited ever. What do you mean? I'm assuming a lot of people haven't been exploited. If you're living in Western countries, if you have been, I don't know, working in normal jobs, you probably haven't been exploited. So, what do you mean? So name something that's alive and hasn't been exploited. Humans. Humans are alive and haven't been exploited. Hello, Pia. Nice to see you here. Always a pleasure. DMM says you're being exploited right now. DMM, who is being cruel or unjust or is exercising their authority over me or towards me right now? That's actually the definition of oppression, but you know, same thing. Henry Zoom says, imagine wasting your time like this. Yeah, Henry Zoom, imagine wasting, it's so funny, imagine wasting your time coming on a stream of somebody fighting for animal rights and saying and complaining about them wasting their time fighting for somebody. Like that's such a ridiculous claim. I don't even intend to make fun of you, but you gotta admit the ridiculousness of your claim, like the sheer hypocrisy of your claim also. It's just funny, yeah? And if you don't see it, it's kind of sad, but you should see it. Wild animals are alive and not exploited. Oh, there you go, Eduardo. Thank you for the example. That's also a good example. Henry Zoom says, no, I'm good because it won't change anything. Of course, you think watching a documentary would matter. You know, Henry, I would beg to differ. It has changed, and me being out on the street has made a difference. And just because you don't know about it, you don't think about it, or you refuse to be part of the change, that doesn't mean everybody refuses to be part of the change. Just that the individual over there who I just spoke to said that they want to change. The oldest people that I spoke to, maybe not all of them will go vegan, but they will make changes, and that does make a difference, you know. So just because, again, you refuse to believe that there isn't any change doesn't mean there isn't any change. It doesn't mean you're right. Just because you have this, dare I say, bigoted view towards this particular issue doesn't mean that everybody does. And yeah, it is bigoted because it is unrealistic and it does infringe on the rights of certain individuals. And you annoying people aren't changing, says Henry Zoom. Henry Zoom, it seems like I'm annoying you more than anything else. Everybody who I speak to has been decent and nice. I mean, sure, some people have been running away, but they only run away when they're aware of their own hypocrisy. Henry Zoom says, no, it's not bigoted, stop playing victim. Oh, I'm sorry for it. I try not to no more longer bash people. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to bash you, okay? I'm not trying to be a dick about it. I just want to, you know, it is bigoted because it is, you're holding on to a view that is discriminatory to certain species of individuals, and it is there's no logical foundation for you to keep holding on to that. So it is bigoted, yeah. I'll eat what I want. You didn't grow up building your food. I can tell you by your accent, says Henry Zoom. Oh, Henry Zoom. I don't think you're really worth my time, to be honest. I think your whole thing is you're trying to see if you're gonna get approval. You're not gonna get approval from me or from anybody. If you're not gonna consider the argument of animals are deserve moral consideration, then you're either not being intellectually honest, or you are not engaging with the argument itself, or I don't know, something is forbidding you from saying that. Probably the thought of admitting that would automatically involve you needing to change. But either way, do some work on yourself. Watch the 3-minute video in the footer, man. It will help you. It will help you understand what I'm speaking about. In the footer of this video, in the description of this video. Hi. You want to try the social experiment? I just ask you some questions, that's it.
What kind of questions?
Oh, you'll see that. Let's see. Are you okay being live from my YouTube channel?
I'll give it a go.
Can you come a little bit closer so that you're in view?
Oh gosh, okay.
What's your name?
Chloe.
Nice to meet you, Chloe.
Nice
So,
to meet you.
where are you from?
England.
England. Okay. How do you feel about animals, Chloe?
I like animals.
Okay. Do you think is it okay? Would it be okay to sexually exploit animals?
No.
No. So what if I benefit from sexually exploiting animals? Would that be okay?
No.
No. Okay. What if I kill them afterwards? Would that be okay?
No, I don't think that's very nice.
No, that's not very nice. Okay. So then your values say that it's wrong to sexually exploit animals.
Yeah.
Do you think that there's any industries that sexually exploit animals that you might be supporting?
Probably like food and clothes.
Yeah. And do you think you have alternatives for those?
I'm vegan, so.
Ah, you're vegan
Yeah.
already. Oh, okay. Well, what are you doing? I'm trying to get people to go
Sorry.
vegan, and that's okay.
I'm not
That's
the
okay.
right
Why are you vegan?
I just don't want to eat animals.
You
So
just
that's
don't eat
not very
animals.
nice, yeah.
What about other animal products?
Like clothes and stuff, I don't really.
Well, clothes stuff, milk, cheese, dairy, eggs.
Yeah.
Do you consume any of those?
No.
No, okay. I just need to make sure because some people, they say they're vegan and they don't do that. So, are you active or are you just vegan?
I'm just vegan.
So let me ask you this. I'll just pose this hypothetical for you, and then I'll let you go. So, assuming there's somebody kicking a dog right over here on the street, right?
Yeah.
What would you do? Would you join them? Would you say something about it, or would you walk by and say nothing?
I'd probably say something.
You probably say something, right? But if you're vegan and not saying, just to draw back the hypothetical, right? If
Yeah.
you're not vegan, you're the person who's joining that person kicking a dog, just a different animal.
Yeah.
If you're vegan, you're walking by saying nothing. And if you're active, you're the person who says something about it, right?
Yeah.
So do you think it's important that you also say something about it, that you become active?
I guess so. Yeah. Sorry, this isn't very good interview. But
No, you're doing
Yeah.
great. You're doing great.
Thank
You're
you.
doing great. Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't know. Then how about your friends? Are you girls vegan? No.
Yeah, I probably would be.
You probably would be. Yeah. You want to come and have this conversation with me? I'm pretty nice, I don't bite, and it's shy. That's okay. Let me give you a card. Okay, it will help you look into it, just to get a little bit more informed. How does that sound? Okay. I'd recommend you watch either Dominion or the most important speech you'll ever hear. You just gotta scan that QR code.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much.
Have a
Cheers.
good day.
Have a good one. LTN, thank you so much for becoming a member. That's awesome. So cool when we find another vegan, says Eduardo. Yeah, it's really cool, right? It's cool to see it. To find other vegans. Yeah, it's interesting, because you never know, right? That's the most interesting thing of it all. Hey, Andoni, nice to see you here. The most interesting thing is that you start off with the conversation, you ask them kind of the same questions, right? And you never know if they're vegan or not, but when you get to ask if they eat animal products, that's the only time you actually know. And it's so interesting to see that there is no actual difference at those questions, whether you're vegan or not. People answer it the same way. That's the interesting part of me, right? Everybody kind of agrees with the values, but not everybody lives up to their own values, which is the problem, everybody. So if you agree with those questions, if you agree with those values, maybe you should change your actions to suit your values also, huh? It's pretty easy. If you're having difficulties, you have links in the description of this video to help you out. There's challenge 22 is on the description of this video. It's pretty easy. You just gotta subscribe. They hook you up with a nutritionist, send you recipes, and bam, you're vegan. And you're living up to your own values. You don't have to feel bad when you hear other people asking you about how you feel about animals. You don't have to do this whole mental exercise where you're thinking, but what about this? What about this? What about that? And it frees your mind to actually look into more important issues. So take, for instance, if you care about human rights and you want to fight for human rights, but somehow you're not vegan. I'm sure you're probably aware of the atrocities that animals go through. So if you were to go vegan, you would free up a lot of mental space in your head to think about how to solve human rights issues better, because you would never have to have that mental exercises to going through rings and thinking, why exactly am I not vegan? Why do we kill these animals but not these animals? Why is it that a dog is more important than a pig? What's the difference between a dog and a pig that justifies killing one but not the other for optional foods? Stuff like that, right? Just think about it. Hey James, nice to see you here. World will stop eating animals. I agree, it will stop. And I even think at some point that we will get more vegan people, not just people who don't eat animals, but actually more vegan people. Darren Michael says, no, it won't. Well, Darren, you're entitled to your opinion. I'm entitled to my opinion. Whether the world will be vegan or not, that's something different. But the question, Darren Michael, is why aren't you vegan? Why do you think it's okay to exploit innocent animals? DMM, I literally replied to your exploitation. Not just me, but several other people have replied to your question. If you don't hear it, if you leave the stream, or if you ask a question, leave the stream and don't hear the answer, then yeah, you might not understand the answer. You might not hear it. So what can I tell you? I'm not good. Like, if you want me to repeat it, yes, humans are not exploited. Wild animals are not exploited. I don't know. We can look into others, but like, we already have billions of individuals not being exploited. That involves humans. And I know your opinion says, well, you're being exploited, blah, blah, blah. But you know we're not exploited. You know I'm not exploited. You know I'm just part of a society. I choose to be part of the society. And the rules that I subscribe to are because I choose to be part of the society. I can always choose to leave. I can choose to be part of a jungle, right? Nobody's holding me against my will here. Your dollar is taxed to the ground. That's exploitation. Oh, I'm sorry, man. I don't mean to laugh at your statement, but that's such a silly statement to say that taxes are exploitation of you, right? That's such an insane thing to think or to say. You know that taxes pay for services that you use, services like firefighters, police, road, all this kind of stuff. You know that, right? Like, taxes are the only reason why you have a country in the first place. Country can only function if there's taxes. It's pretty simple, man. Like, to think that you're being exploited for taxes is insane. It's just an insane thing to think. It just implies that you don't really understand the whole governing system behind, I don't know, society. Are some taxes too big? Sure, I'd argue there's taxes that could be lowered. But there's also taxes that should be higher, right? Billionaires shouldn't exist. There shouldn't be taxes that are higher for poorer people than for rich people. The fact that they have ways to go around it and not pay enough taxes, that is insane to me. It's not that we shouldn't have taxes. It's that taxes should be adjusted properly. We should have a better taxation system, not that we shouldn't have taxes. That's the real thing. And by the way, where I live here in the Netherlands, the taxation system is better than the US, and it is pretty high. We have pretty high taxes. Oh, brother, DMM and the state versus federal. Yeah, that's so sad, man. It's so sad to hear when people, the one thing I really appreciated, I'm an European, okay? And the one thing that I really appreciated about the United States of America was the unitedness of it. When you're saying that we should dismantle some of the unitedness, we should dismantle some of the taxes, we should dismantle some of the things that the whole federal system does. Federal literally just means that it applies to all the states, right? It's at the federal level, it's for all the country. And you think that it should be given state by state basis, that literally means you want less unitedness. And to me that's insane, because the beauty and the big benefit, the biggest thing that US has is its unitedness. The reason why US is so economically powerful is because of its unitedness. So to want to have more distinguished, I'm spacing out on that word anyway. Distinguished. If you want distinctions, that's what I was looking for. If you want to have more distinctions between states, that will just end up like a nightmare for individual producers who just want to sell throughout states. Like if you have certain laws for certain products, certain taxes, you just end up in a place where you're like not in a good place. And you know what? Taxes should not be state regulated, and I'll argue why. Because you know what? If they're state regulated, big companies benefit. You know why? Because a big company can just take their headquarters from one state to another easily, whereas a small company, well, a family-run company, they are literally stuck in a state. They can't easily move. So if that state has bigger taxes than another state, then they can't find it easy to move. So it would actually benefit everybody if the taxes are regulated at a federal level rather than at state level. FYI. It's just my opinion, by the way. I'm not in any way I don't have higher education on this matter. It's just my logical thinking about this. So you can challenge it if you want and tell me if I'm saying something that's ridiculous. But either way, I'm here to speak on behalf of animals. I'm here to speak about animal rights. And I can detour from time to time and speak about smaller issues and other stuff, but I mainly want to talk about animals and animal rights. It doesn't make sense to be vegan and not be anarchist, and vice versa. Ariane, I disagree. Of course it makes sense to be vegan and not anarchist. What does that... They're unrelated one to each other, right? I'm a vegan. I'm definitely vegan. I reject animal exploitation and the whole idea of oppressing animals. I don't think animals are in any way here for us. I don't have a view. I'm not speciesist in that sense. But I still don't want anarchy. I want rules. I like a society with rules. I like laws. I like taxes. Well, I like them. It's a strong word saying I like taxes. I just like the idea of having a system that is properly taxated and I'm being taken care of. And I can understand, people from the US, I noticed there's this perception that you're not happy with your government and what's happening there. Especially now, yeah. But that's not a thing here in the Netherlands. It's a little bit different, Like, obviously there's things we disagree with what the government does, but I lived in Romania, I lived in the US for a little bit, and I lived here. And I can tell you that here, you do feel taken care of. You do feel like, even you do pay large sums of large taxes, your money goes somewhere, and it does help you in the end. But yeah, again, I'm here to speak about animal rights. See, I detour easily. I'm passionate also about other stuff. Come on, let's get some people here. So, let me ask you, people who are watching this stream and are not vegan, how do you see animals? Do you think animals are just objects that we can do whatever we want to? Or do you think there are individuals who deserve body autonomy, and that means for them to decide what they want to do with their own body? Fat Doggo says animals are just like us, they deserve respect. Exactly. So McDonald Family Adventure says animals are what? What did you say? What? That's interesting. Animals are not individuals. I don't believe animals are victims either. So you don't believe that sexually exploiting an animal, them having zero body autonomy because they don't, that we decide everything for them, when they eat, when they sleep, what they eat, when they give birth, what happens to their babies, what happens to them, and when they die, and when they start to breathe. We literally decide absolutely everything for them, and you think that is okay. That form of extreme slavery, because I wouldn't even call it regular slavery, it's pretty extreme. And you think that animals should be treated that way. You think that it's okay to do that to animals. And then when I ask you, well, wait a minute, aren't humans animals? We are mammals after all. We are a form of animal. Yes, but we are different. How are we different? Please explain to me. And I'm just, by the way, I'm having conversation on your behalf also here. So please explain to me, Mr. McDonald Adventure thing. How exactly are we different from animals? How are we so different that it's justified to remove the whole body autonomy of an animal and do whatever you want to them for optional benefit, but it's not okay to do this to a human being? Why is it okay to do to an animal but not to a human being? Mr. Manx says they want a family and friends just like us. That is true, Mr. Manx. And hey, Mr. Manx, I gave you a shout out at the beginning of the stream. I gave you a shout out because you were amongst the first to comment. Well, you were the first to comment on that last stream. Tariq says we are not animals. Oh, Tariq, you were. We are mammals. We are animals. Yes, we are. We're very much animals. So to say that we are not animals would go directly against. I don't even know. I want to call it science, but it just goes directly against all bodies of science. We are very much animals. Yes. What makes us animals? The fact that we are mammals. The fact that we are animals. We are descendants of apes. What do you mean? We are literally animals. I heard a response, I saw a response. We are different from animals. We can choose to be peace creatures. So you can choose peace. And that makes you different from animals. But if you find a human being who does not have the capability to choose peace, who is, let's say, intellectually challenged or something, this human being just goes more or less by instinct and thought. Would it be okay to do to them what we do to animals? Double A says, yet we still choose war. Interesting. Yeah, I don't think we choose war, to be honest. That's a little bit more complex, but I don't think anybody on earth wants war. I think war is just the stupid ambition of certain powerful people. Like Putin. Right? Him invading Ukraine. That's insane. Hey, you guys want to try the social experiment?
Okay.
What are you doing? You okay being live for my YouTube channel?
Right.
What's your names?
Samuel.
Samuel, nice to meet you.
I'm Linda.
Amanda.
Amanda, nice to meet you. Okay, so where are you from?
Brazil.
Brazil. Okay, okay. How do you feel about animals?
But animals. I like animals.
You like animals?
Yes.
Why do you like them?
Because I don't know. They are.
Yeah.
Would
For
you say
example-
animals are innocent?
Yes.
I like
I
meat.
think so. Yeah.
Okay. I am carnivore. How do I
Oh,
say?
yeah, you eat meat.
Yes, I eat meat, but I like animals.
Ah.
All animals.
All animals.
Just pigeons, I don't like it.
Okay.
Pigeons, I don't like it.
Okay. So, do you like cows, chickens, and pigs?
Yes.
Yes.
Life and death.
So, so if does she like you? Are you boyfriend and girlfriend?
Yes.
Do you like her?
Yes.
Would you slash her throat for something that is essentially optional to you?
No.
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 So how can you say you like cows if you think it's okay to slash their throat for something that is essentially
I
optional?
don't know because I think it's the culture of my country too.
So
You know
if
what I
your
mean?
culture says that at some point you need to beat your
Yes, I
wife
like
or
the
your
culture.
girlfriend. So if your culture says it's okay to beat your girlfriend or your wife,
No, no,
would that be okay to do?
no.
No, of
So-
course not.
So then why bring culture into it if
No,
if
I
you-
agree with him because countries they are different, and I was born in a place that everybody was putting that food for us to eat. You
Same,
know?
yeah.
At the same, for example, if I'm a kid, I don't have money to buy other things, and like in Brazil, people are trying to be vegetarian, but it's really expensive.
Yes.
My sister tried, and she got anemia, like of the blood, because their things were so expensive, and she didn't have people around or try to search for things that are cheaper to not eat the animals,
let's say if I give you resources to help you with price and nutrition, what would keep you from never exploiting animals again, from never forcing animals into slaughterhouses?
To not eat, you say?
Or to not for I don't care, like it's I that's the thing, when I have conversations with people, I'll tell you need to understand I don't care about what you do per se, right? I only care about the consequences of your actions. And when you eat animal products, when you buy animal products, an animal gets exploited and killed for you. And I care about that. I don't want animals to be exploited. You see what I mean?
Yes.
Yes.
So yes, if that would imply you not eating animal products, yes.
Yeah.
So what would it take if I give you resources to help you with all of this? Why would you still want to participate in exploitation of animals or in the
I think when we have access to information, it makes us to think different, And at the same time, I think when, we already see the world is changing because of climate change, and I believe this eating culture about animals is helping to us to get this high degrees in place like here. I think it should be more cold right now, yes, but actually you're having a winter with actual kind of no snow, for example, and I think this is an impact from us eating animals maybe too. So
you mean that it impacts climate change? It definitely does.
yes,
Yes,
I
yes.
think so.
yeah.
So I think people will change when we are in our last time to change, because
Well, how
now we
about
already
you?
have to change, but no one is changing actually.
But how about you? I know we want to discuss about what people do, societies, because it absolves us of the responsibilities we have as individuals. Do you think you have a responsibility in the matter, in the choices that you're making?
Yes, of course.
Yeah. So then, how about you? What do you want to do? Do you want to be responsible for the exploitation and death and killings of animals?
Yeah, I think we all want to say we don't want to be responsible, but actually we are, And for example, after this conversation, we will not stop eating
Yes.
animals. Yeah,
Why not?
Because we don't want. People we don't want to change. We like to eat, And that's as I told you. When we are in our last time to change, I believe that everybody we will change.
Fala pra ele, eu
We stop-
esqueci como que se fala, mas tipo assim, o errado não é comer carne, mas exagerar e ter um consumismo muito alto,
The
sabe?
consumption of meat is so big, Like he says, there's no problem we eat, but at the same time we eat a lot.
A gente
It
tinha que
will impact a
diversificar
lot.
mais as
We need
coisas,
to
sabe?
diverse, our eating. Yeah, maybe.
Well, you as individuals can choose to never oppress animals again.
What
Yeah,
the
I think
question?
everybody can
So
choose.
you as individuals can choose to never oppress animals again. You, because individuals can choose to never eat the flesh of an animal, right? You as individuals can choose to not slash the throat of an innocent
Choose.
animal.
Yes, we can choose. We have this
Yeah.
right to choose, you know?
Yeah. So why not make that choice again? Because
so much.
just because you like it.
Yes, exactly. I think
I like so
And
much
do you think that
barbecue.
if I like beating up women, I should beat up women?
Of course not.
No.
Why not? It seems to me
Human-
like your values say that if you like doing something, it doesn't really matter if there's victims behind it. You should just continue doing it.
Yes, exactly. But as he said, culture is like this, you know.
Yeah, my
we are
culture
passionate
says
about
I should beat up women. That's what my culture says. Is that
Your
okay?
culture says that?
Yeah.
I am adept to my culture.
Let's just imagine if my culture says that I should beat up women.
Yeah, I think people will act normal as we act normal eating animals, you know.
What do you mean by normal? Do you mean normal in the sense of moral, or do you mean normal
I
in the
think
sense of
normal,
everybody
like,
does
it's
it?
Normal for us to go to a restaurant and see people eating meat, you know, because we see this for a long time, you know.
So
But
does that make it moral?
I don't, not normal,
say-
but common, maybe. You know, normal is different than
yeah,
common. So,
yeah.
for example, years ago when it was common to men beating the wives or kids,
But was it moral?
not normal, but it was common.
But
You
was
know?
it? Yeah, but was it moral? Was it according to your
Immoral.
own values?
Yeah, today we see as immoral, yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know. At some time ago,
But
if
let's
it was
assume,
immoral.
like, think about it this way: if you were born 200 years ago, it would have been normal to have slaves. Would that be okay with your values to have
Eu acho que
slaves?
com o tempo as coisas vão mudando, né?
And with time that we have information know about history, we have another view of the.
But I'm providing you information right now, and you say that you don't want to change.
You
You
are
keep
providing
saying you
information.
keep
Maybe
saying
the
you need
next
information,
generation.
but I give you information that you're oppressing animals, that you have alternatives, and you're saying, yeah, but I like it. I like the pleasure. Do you
Yeah.
think the people who had slaves didn't like having slaves? Somebody doing everything for you, of course they liked it. But did that make it okay to have slaves? No.
No, of course not. But as you said, you are giving information. Can you give me some data or somewhere to research? Because
Okay,
you
let me
just
ask you. Yeah,
told
sure, I
us
can give
the
you that.
way
But
I'm told you.
let me ask you this: do you know what happens to dairy cows? Cows that produce milk.
I didn't understand your question.
Do you know what happens to dairy cows? Cows that produce milk.
Cows. Okay. What happened? I don't know.
Do you know why do they produce milk in the first place?
Why do they produce? Because people consume.
Do you think cows produce milk for people, or why do they produce milk?
Ah, okay. I didn't understand your question.
Cows produce milk to your baby.
Yeah.
But we can get the milk and drink.
Yeah, we can. We just got them. Said,
So
"You
if you-
give me
I don't
milk."
like so
Yeah, so if you have a baby, I can come and take some milk from you. Right?
Tem algumas mulheres que
Yeah.
doam leite
After all,
materno,
I would be more powerful than you, and it would be justified for me to take milk from you, right? Even if you, doesn't matter if you want to or not. It's just that I know I can take it. Would that be okay?
No.
No.
No. But aside from that, of course, like, you know, animals, cows, in order to produce milk, as you said, they have to have babies. Do you think they get pregnant whenever they want to, or do you think farmers decide when they get pregnant?
O que você acha?
É.
I think we are imposing, you know, humans think they have power to animals, you know. We think we can control them, do everything we want. I think it's how
Mas eu acho
the
que
words work.
com o tempo as coisas vão mudando, sabe?
But what do your values say? Do you think we have the right to do whatever we want to animals just because we have power?
No, we don't
Eu
have.
acho que vai muito do que eu falei, tipo, a gente não pode ter um consumismo exagerado, sabe?
Yes, what is we said. We don't think.
But you say that your values are that, but your actions say otherwise, right? Your
Yes.
actions say that you can do whatever you want to animals as long as you get pleasure, right? Because you said literally because you get pleasure of it, then because everybody else does it, then it's okay to do it. Right?
Yes, you're right.
So what do you want to do? Do you want to?
I want to stop eating meat, Samuel.
No, I can't.
You can't.
Não, eu não consigo. Agora eu não consigo, não.
Why is it that you can't?
I'm so skinny. If I
So you just have
stop
to eat more
meat,
calories.
I lost so height.
You just have to eat calories. That's how it works.
No vegetables.
You just have
I
to
like
eat calories. It
vegetables.
doesn't matter where the calories come from.
I don't know, man, but it's alright.
Let's say again, I give you resources to help you with that. What exactly is holding you back? Because like you just gotta want it, right? Like, do you think there isn't that you couldn't find a way to make it work?
I don't know.
Like if you had a medical condition that says you're not allowed to eat animal products anymore, you know, there's a tick that bites you and you become allergic to animal products. Would you die?
No,
No,
stop.
no.
You stop
I
and
know.
you find a way to make it work, right? So why is it
Yes.
that you don't find it important enough that a life of hundreds of animals are exploited and killed for you every year?
Yes, I don't like the.
Yeah, I saw research these days and it's like ridiculous the number. But principally the
Yes, like
como é galinha?
Chicken.
Chicken. It's absurd the number.
yeah.
It's really big, like 3 billion. I don't know, maybe more.
Oh, it's
per,
way
per
more,
year.
yeah.
Per year.
So per year we kill 90 billion land animals and over 1 trillion sea animals.
Nossa.
Yeah. Yeah, obviously, you two going vegan could mean what, 100 to 200 per animals per year per individual. So it could mean what, up to 400 animals, let's say. So it doesn't, it won't make a dent in that number, but it would mean everything to those animals, right? So
Yes.
you gotta ask yourself, where do you want to be? Do you want to be the ones who continue contributing to this number, which you find horrific? But it's only that big because people like you participate in it. So how can you say you're against it if you choose to participate in
Acho
it?
que a gente tem que ter.
So actually we are not against, yeah. We just support because we are eating, so we are supporting.
Your
it.
actions say this, right? But your
Yeah.
values seem to say differently.
Yeah.
So what do you want to do? Do you want to align your actions with your values? Or?
You are vegan?
Yeah.
Vegan?
Yeah. And I'm also a bodybuilder, you know. I'm a pretty big guy. So you can get as long as you eat enough calories, you can get it. It's no problem.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah.
I think it's
This
just a
is
choice, you
difficult.
know.
It's
Maybe
just a
it's
choice,
easier.
yeah.
It's easier,
Yes.
you know, to eat there. Eat that. Just put on the oven and eat, you know.
But have you guys ever seen what animals go through? Have you seen like how they get forcibly impregnated? Do you want to see it?
What?
No.
Because I have footage on me.
No, I don't want to.
O que ele falou?
Se você sabe como que funciona o abate, você sabe, né?
Yes, I know.
He knows.
Yeah, it's awful, isn't
It's
it?
terrible.
It's terrible. Yeah.
Terrible.
But
The animals know.
They are gonna die.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know they start crying, yeah.
In your eyes. They
yeah,
know.
they know, and there's like what you see is only half the story because it can get so much worse. You know, there's situations where it gets so much worse.
Yes.
But if you don't like what you see, if you don't like what's happening, you can of course choose to not look at it and look away, but that
Yes.
won't make the problem go away, especially if you continue participating in it. So the bare minimum that I'm asking is that you don't participate in it, not that you can look away afterwards. If you don't participate in it, you have the freedom to look away, but
Yes.
if you participate in it, don't you think you should at least look directly at it and know what you're paying for?
All right, bro.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Let me
We
give
need
you a
to
card
go.
to help you, okay?
Okay.
Because you
What's your
said you
name?
want to get more
What's
information.
your
I'm Chip.
Instagram?
I'll give you a card. It has also that. So if you go on this, if you scan this QR code, you can either watch the minion, which literally shows you what they go through, or the most important speech you'll ever hear, which teaches you what they go through.
True ever. And this is your Instagram.
Yeah, and if you scan this QR code,
Mhm.
you also have Challenge 22. They hook you up with a nutritionist, send you recipes every day. They help you go vegan, all of it for free.
Nice.
So you have all the, and then within your budget and within your calorie requirements. You just gotta want it. And think about it. What's the difference between a dog and a cow? Would you do this to a dog?
No.
But the
course
cow
not.
somehow is deserving?
No,
There's no
she's
difference.
not, yeah, but we do it, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Show some
much.
compassion and fairness, okay?
Bye.
Thank you so
guys.
much. Have a
Bye
good
bye,
one.
guys.
Trying to be a bit nicer. I'm trying to bridge the gap. I'm trying to remove this mentality of us versus them. There is no us versus them, everybody. And if you're not vegan, please consider that. There is no us versus you. There is no we vegans have a problem with you non-vegans. We don't. We have a problem with animal exploitation. That's what we have a problem with. We recognize there's systems in place to make it easier for you to exploit animals, to make it easier for you to forget that you're exploiting animals. We recognize that, and we don't blame you for those. What we blame you for is looking away, like this couple wants to do. What we blame you for is saying, my pleasure is worth more. What we blame you for is the fact that you don't at least spare 3 minutes of your life to watch a video that is in the description of this channel, of this video. It literally shows you what animals go through. Explore your values a little bit. Think about it for yourself. Think for yourself. Think for yourself, please. Don't just assume a mentality. Oh, you vegans are in a situation. No, don't just assume that, because we're not. We just care about the animals. Any vegan out there will say the same thing. The minute you stop exploiting animals, we no longer want to criticize you. Far be it from us to say how you do or how you live your life. It's not about that. I don't care. I don't care if you want to live your life I don't know, outside, inside, eating 5,000 calories, eating 3,000 calories, eating mostly fat, eating mostly protein, eating mostly carbs, whatever kind of diet you want to follow, whatever you want to wear. You want to wear 30 sheets of clothing, 1 sheet of clothing. I don't care what you do or your life. I only care when your consequences involve exploiting innocent sentient animals. And that's why we're here doing this, because we're asking you to stop. We're asking you to think about your values. And I say again, if you wouldn't do it to a dog, why on earth would you do it to a cow, a chicken, or a pig? Think about it. Behind the eyes of a dog, there's a somebody. There's a somebody who wanted to live, who deserves to live, who thinks, who dreams. Just like that, there's a somebody behind those cows, behind those chickens, behind those pigs. And when you buy an animal product, what you're doing is you're reducing them to mere objects, to mere products. You're saying your life means nothing to me. You're saying, you know what? 10 minutes of food, 15 minutes of food is worth more than your whole existence, than your whole exploitation, than your whole abuse, than your whole slaughter, than everything that you go through. It's all worth it. And not only that it's worth it, because you're not trading food or convenience for that. You're giving them money. You're giving them money to do that. It's insane to me, because it's such a disproportionate thing to think that that's okay to do. It's just insane. Like, think about it. Think for yourselves again. I'm not here to tell you what to think. I'm just trying to put up as many perspectives as I can. I'm trying to say it in as many ways as I can to show you other perspectives of it, because I know that deep down, everybody listening to this, everybody watching this knows that it's wrong what we do to animals, knows that perhaps they should stop. So what are you waiting for? Just make the change. You'll enjoy it. You'll feel better about it. You'll have mental space. You basically have way more to gain and way less to lose. I'm just saying. I'm trying to encourage you. Do it. You have resources in the footer of this, in the description of this video. I keep saying footer because I see it as a footer. Brad Forrester says, "Hey Chip, your modes are unhinged and are turning people away from veganism." I don't know what to tell you about that, man. If you need to say more, you can't just drop accusations like that. You need to say exactly what the situation is, right? Not your opinion of the situation, because otherwise it means nothing. And I don't mean that your opinion means nothing. I just mean that if I only hear your opinion, then it means nothing, because it's just an opinion. But moderators, I think moderators have already been told to not silence people unless they're being very rude or something, right? Let's just lower the bar a little bit so that we allow more people to have the chances to speak, to ask questions, even though there will be stupid questions. We all know that a lot of times there are questions. Like, look at this guy, McDonald Family Adventures. Baby in the womb, Chip. Baby in the womb, Chip. What about baby in the womb, Chip? What about babies in the womb? Are you asking another question about abortion? Is that it? Should I explain to you yet again why abortion should not be a legal issue? Should we discuss this yet again? Or are you one of those proponents who's been brainwashed to think that, well, look at this, abortion is murder, but somehow it should be left up to the state to decide. So wait, should murder be left up to the state to decide? What exactly is it that you're saying? And that's just the thing, you probably don't know what it is that you're saying. You've just been sold an idea, you've just been brainwashed by one idea, and you're going along with it. And you don't like me telling you this? Well, prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. Show me the logic. Show me where your logic stands. Because you know what? I'm not gonna go down the abortion again. I've been down again. If you have questions about it, please just look it up. Go to the beginning of this video, watch it all again. I've already discussed abortion. I'm not here to discuss abortion. I'm here to discuss animal rights. Okay? McDonald says abortion should be abolished. Are you a man, McDonald? Are you a person who can never get an abortion? Is that why you think it should be abolished? Because you stand to lose nothing from abolishing a medical procedure? Did you know that this medical procedure can save lives? But you might not be interested in this, because at the end of the day, you might not be affected by it, is it? Right? Is that it? As long as you're not affected, you don't really care. You just care about some ideologies. But you're so let me ask you this, because you think you're so principled of this ideology that because you stand nothing to lose, you follow it to the gut, you fight for it. But when it's an ideology that you perhaps also follow, like animal rights, like the fact that animals should not be exploited, abused, and slaughtered for something that is essentially optional to us for mere pleasure and convenience, when it comes to that, because you would stand to lose something, right? You would have to change your ways. Then you have an opinion, and it's difficult, and it should not be done, then all sorts of reasons, right? Isn't that convenient for you? Brad Forrester says, the mods on this channel called me an animal abuser for letting my cat out of the house on a private 60-acre properties. I think the people called you that because you support animal abuse. Do you support animal abuse? Do you buy animal products? Do you acknowledge that there is inherent animal abuse behind animal products? Do you want to discuss about the definition of what abusing animals is, or about abuse in general, what it is? I would say it's physical or emotional harm. 100% of the animals in animal agriculture end up with physical harm, and definitely with emotional harm. But let's not go down that road, because everybody says, well, how do you know? Well, you can kind of see it, but let's just say you cannot disprove the idea that they go through physical harm, right? All animals get killed. That is physically harmful. Marcos, thank you so much. You are not alone. I'm feeling exactly the same. And all vegans and vegan activists, we will never ever stop. Exactly, Marcos. Thank you so much. Thank you for the support.
Hola.
Hi.
¿Hablas un poquito de español?
English only, sorry.
¿Solo inglés?
Yeah.
Oh, no hay problema.
No problem. Let me give you a flyer. Let me show you what I'm all about. And oh, sorry, a flyer. Actually, wait. I'll give you a flyer.
Es para video de TikTok.
Yeah, I'm live.
Oh, vivo.
Yeah. Read through it, and you know what I'm about.
Okay. Bye.
Cheers. Thank
Gracias.
you. Ciao. Oh, yeah. It's so funny, you know, like Vintage 30 says he won't answer because he knows I'm right. I haven't even been paying attention to you. I don't even know what you're talking about. I won't answer because first of all, I don't see what to answer. Oh, there you go. Let's see. Somebody, McDonald replied, no, I believe human life mean more than animals. To me, you're a hypocrite. You care about all life, right? I'm different because I believe animals are meant for food. McDonald, first of all, it's so funny to me. You believe all lives matter, but all of a sudden, you believe taking the life of innocent animals for nothing, for something that is optional to you, is okay. But you believe all life matters, sure. And I'm the hypocrite. Oh my God, so funny when people make these claims. And of course you believe human life means more than animals because you're human, of course. It's just like a white person believing that a white person's life means more than a black person's life. Because they're part of their group, right? You're part of a human life is part of your group. Therefore, of course, you value it more. But why does that matter, huh? Who cares about that? Who cares about the value you place on animals? At the end of the day, it's the values that animals have on their own. It's not about the values that you place on them. So why not consider animals? Why not realize that they have their own intrinsic value? And that's what matters. It's not the extrinsic value. It's not the value that you place on them, but rather that the value that they have intrinsically. So, yeah, why not consider that, huh? Why do you only consider what they value in reference to you? Why should that matter? If you value nothing in reference to me, let me just put it this way, and you value nothing in reference to me, I'm sorry to say it, but I don't know who you are. If you were to die tomorrow, it would affect me in absolutely no way. So literally, you have literal zero values to me, just like I have literal zero value to you, because again, if I die tomorrow, it would mean nothing to you. But if all that happens, does that give me the right to take your life, to do whatever I want to you because you have zero value to me? No. I acknowledge that you have your own intrinsic value. I acknowledge that you have your own desires and will and life. That's why I don't think it's right for me to exploit or kill you. And it's the same for animals. It's as easy as that. Mike Delson says you're a plant killer. Mike Delson, would you be surprised to find out that actually when you're consuming animal products, you're killing monumentally more plants? You know, a lot of the times you tend to forget, but I'll remind you because I also tended to forget, and it's no judgment there. But you know, when animals are fed plants, and they're actually fed way more plants than you would have otherwise eaten yourselves to get the same amount of calories or protein. So yeah, no, that doesn't really make sense. I'm less of a plant killer. Less. So there you go. How many animals die? Oh, there you go. This is Vintage 30, the crop deaths argument. Oh, wow, you sure told me, Vintage 30. I'm not going to answer because I've never ever heard this argument before. I've only heard it 30,000 times. I've only heard it a couple of hundred times. Man, I hear this argument every day, by the way. I hear it every day. I'll just tell you this. How many animals die a cruel, inhumane death in order to sustain a vegan lifestyle per year? And let me explain it to you. Pretty simple. First of all, yes, animals die in crop agriculture. I'll admit to that. It's awful that they do that, but there's different concerns here, and it's a pretty complex issue. So hey, pay attention. Are you paying attention? What was your name? Something 30. Vintage 30. Are you paying attention, Vintage 30? Pay attention. So, I will only say it this once for you, okay? And I'll explain. Animals, okay? The animals that we farm, when we farm animals, we are creating a system that inherently depends on exploiting animals. The system of animal agriculture cannot exist without exploiting animals. There cannot be animal agriculture without us using animals to create animal products. It's just impossible. It's dependent on it. Therefore, animal agriculture will absolutely never ever get better. No matter how much we go future in time, animal agriculture will always exploit animals. That's number one. Okay, so this system can never get better. Plant agriculture, as we say it, crop agriculture, does have animal deaths, indeed. It does, it's awful. However, that system can be improved, can it not? Yes, it can, of course. The parallel that I'll draw a simple parallel to you. Gas cars versus electric cars. Of course, in the end, electric cars, well, they use less energy in the end, but let's assume they would use exactly the same amount of energy than gas cars would. Electric cars would still be a better solution because the whole system would be centralized and changing it would be fairly easy, right? You would just need to change the electrical source and bam, that's it. It could be carbon neutral. This isn't about the environment. I'm just trying to prove to you that there are certain systems that need individual changes and there are certain systems that need systemic changes, right? Crop deaths is a system that needs systemic changes, a system that requires changes in the way we crop food. And so that there's ways that by the way, that less animals are killed or none at all, right? Like mechanic farming, like vertical farming. But either way, that's one part of the issue, right? That's just one part of it. Please pay attention because it's as I said, it's a complex answer. That's number one. Number two, animals in animal agriculture are actually fed considerably more crops. In fact, most of the crops we as humans grow, and think about that, that's kind of an insane thing to say, to realize, that most of the crops that we grow for food are actually fed for animals, are actually for animal feed. That's the reality. So any deaths, any incidental deaths that happen during crop death farming are going to be monumentally more when you farm animals. It's only logical because they're using way more crops. So there's that. Do I also need to touch upon the idea of intent? One, again, is intentionally exploiting an animal. One is incidentally killing an animal. The purpose of killing animals in crop agriculture isn't because you want to kill animals. It is because you want to protect the crops. The purpose of killing animals in animal agriculture is because you want to kill the animal to use their flesh. There's a difference. You realize that. Let me see other misinformation that Vintage 30 is peddling. If we all switched to vegan and had to feed animals, to what would happen to all those animals that get mauled to bits? Okay, so Vintage 30, am I to understand that you understand that crop deaths isn't a plant a vegan or non-vegan issue. It's just an issue that needs solving, and you choosing to go vegan or not go vegan does not make the problem there, or does not make the problem go away or be solved in any way. It does not mutate the issue in absolutely any way. Do you agree to that? Before I answer any of your other questions, Mr. or Mrs. or however you identify as Vintage 30, do you agree that crop deaths is a different issue? Before we move on. Whew. I'm trying to take it systematically. I'm trying to have a conversation. I'm trying to show you that there is no need to support animal exploitation, and there isn't. And believe it or not, any arguments that you have against veganism, any arguments that you have against veganism can be debunked. And not just that can, it probably has been. So just think about it for yourself, because you can think of all the time. Anything that is brought up to your attention, you can think of arguments, right? Even during slavery, like imagine this, if during slavery times, when people had slaves who would bring cotton from the land or help with whatever it is, they could have found so many arguments to not stop slavery, right? Like saying, yeah, it's good for the economy. Everybody gets benefit from it. How are you going to plant all of this? What, are you just going to feed everybody? You're going to find all sorts of arguments. But that's not the point that you need to look at, right? What you needed to look at is whether it is the right thing to do or not, because that's the first thing. That's the base of everything that we should do. The base of everything that we should do should be whether it is moral or not to do it. Right? We shouldn't be building societies, systems, and everything on an immoral base. Because when we do that, we will eventually have to change. Anything that is immoral, we will eventually have to change. So then the whole system comes crumbling down. Animal agriculture is a good example of that. So again, you can try to find justifications. You can try to think of what if. But try to think about it deep down inside of you, or really think again. Is there really a justification to exploit cows but not dogs? To exploit cows but not humans? Is there any justification to think that it's okay to do any of it to animals? Because if there isn't, and I'm assuming there isn't, then stop trying to find justifications and look for resources to get more informed and to learn how to make changes. I think that would be more valuable from your time rather than trying to find ridiculous excuses. Just my opinion. King Penguin asks me, what car do you drive? I don't have a car, King Penguin. So I don't drive any car. And by the way, everyone, if you're enjoying these conversations, the ones on the street, the ones I have with the chat, what I'm saying, or hell, even if you think that I have a shred of truth there in what I'm saying, consider becoming a subscriber to this channel. Consider subscribing, hitting that like, and hit that notification bell, because I don't always plan these live streams, but maybe you want to be in more of them. Maybe you want to have more conversations. Maybe you still have questions about it. Not just answerable by me, also by people in the chat, because we're all a team here. Yeah. Oh, are you leaving, Ali? Thank you for being here, Ali. Thank you for helping out. And yeah, I understand, it can be frustrating sometimes to deal with all the arguments, and I appreciate you for being here and having patience. Mike Dayson says, oh, Mike Dayson, okay, so you did not listen to anything I told you, Mike Dayson. Okay, thank you for showing me that you're not worth my time. I will engage with you, I will have conversations with you in the chat, but you have to be engaged back. Hey Peg, nice to see you. Somebody, Vintage 30 is so triggered right now. Hey, dear person. I stop being so triggered. Stop it. Just stop being triggered and think a little bit, I'm starting to think more and more that emotional intelligence it's more important than actual intelligence. I might come back, just a bit busy. Thanks for defending the innocent, says Ali. Ali, I appreciate you being here. I always do. Thank you for being here. Hey, Peg, it's nice to see you. Oh, vintage 30? Nothing. I don't think you could say anything to actually hurt my feelings, because I don't really consider you in absolutely any way. And I know you might find it rude for me to say this, but I'm just being direct. And I learned to be direct. And I love it. I love being direct. So please explain to me, what exactly is it? Where am I being a hypocrite about, Mr. Vintage 30? I'm willing to listen to you. Explain to me, where am I being a hypocrite? DMM says, beat me in a game of chess and I'll go vegan. DMM, you can ask somebody else. I'm not very good at chess. I'm only average. I play chess once per year. How could I ever be good at that? That's ridiculous. And my incentive, by the way, so what you're saying is that's such an insane thing. Is that where your morals stand? So you're saying that your values are contingent whether on somebody it beats you at a game or not? You say you will consider animals morally only if somebody beats you at the game of chess? Really? Is that really where your values stand? You seem like you'd be decent. No, I'm not that good. I actually lose a lot of the times. I'm not very good at chess. I used to be better when I was a child, but I'm not very good right now. Because again, I play once a year. It's the type of game where you need practice, where you need to learn moves. I'm not like that at all, so no. But I'm sure there's vegans out there who you can play and who are very good at it. Mustang 3.0 asks me, do you have any pets? I do not have any pets, no. Why is that? Why is it that you ask that? The mods are fine hurting humans. Animals are off limits. Moral high ground. Oh, brother. Where did you come up with that argument? Hey, you guys want to try a social experiment?
Yeah, what is it?
I just ask you some questions, get you to think a little bit.
Okay.
What's your name? Are you okay being live from my YouTube channel?
Of course.
What's your name?
My name is Wissam.
Can you come a little bit closer and say that again?
My name is Wissam.
Lizam?
Wissam.
Wissam. Nice to meet you, Wissam. Okay, I'll just wait. Okay. Where are you from?
I'm from Jerusalem.
From Jerusalem. Okay.
Yeah.
How do you feel about animals?
I feel that they are a gift from God.
They are a gift from God?
Yeah.
Do you think animals deserve moral consideration?
Of course. Of
Okay.
course.
Do you think exploiting animals for something that we don't need would be okay?
No.
No, right. So what if it's exploiting them for pleasure?
That's a bad idea.
That's a bad idea?
Yeah.
Okay. What if it's for convenience?
For convenience? In what way?
Like it's just more convenient to exploit animals than to not exploit them.
I don't think that's a good idea.
That's not a good idea.
That's
Okay,
not-
I
yeah.
appreciate that. Okay, so the reason why I ask you these questions is because of this final question, where I'm just trying to kind of understand where your values stand, and you seem to have good values.
Yeah.
And I just want to understand, how do you leverage all this with animal products? Do you consume animal products?
I do, yeah.
Do you think there's some form of exploitation happening there?
Like, look, it depends. Like, for example, if the animal products are going to be for something that we can replace them with other products, I would stay away from them. For example, like for shoes. Like they give you shoes from animal leather.
Yeah, because there's other alternatives, exactly. But do you think that for food there's not other alternatives?
For food, I don't know if there's alternative, but according to my knowledge, I think that the animal products for food can be like number one for our like food trail. Like we need that.
No, we don't need it. No, I actually studying to be a certified nutritionist, and we don't need any animal products to thrive.
If there is some confirmation about that, I would be so happy to replace it with that.
Yeah, listen. Don't trust me on this. You can look it up. You
Yeah.
can even pull up your phone right now if you want and search it. But
Yeah.
we 100% do not need animal products, right? We
Okay.
can thrive on plant-based diets. We just need to, of course, make sure that we have all the macro, micronutrients out of
Mhm.
it, right?
Yeah.
And you can do that, obviously, on a plant-based diet. Just like I would argue, anything that you eat, any diet that you choose to have,
Yeah.
will require a little bit of your attention, right? You can't
Yeah.
just eat randomly. You have to eat consciously and with
Exactly.
purpose, right? Purposefully. So it's the same when you're choosing a plant-based diet. It's the same thing. You have to eat purposely. You just have to make sure that to incorporate certain vitamins and other macronutrients.
I'd be so happy. I'd be so happy if they like give us really good alternative for the meat, for example.
But you have
Although-
alternatives right now for meat. What do you mean?
I don't know them. According to my knowledge, really, I don't know them. Like, you know, I'm a simple person living in a simple world. Like, I don't do that much researches, but according to my knowledge, like, I know that the meat is number one for the protein, for example.
It's not. It's not. It's not even. So you get protein from it, but like I would say maybe protein powder is number one for protein, right? Not meat.
Yeah.
I mean, we get way more protein per each calorie from protein powder, and you have plant-based protein powder. You have also animal-based protein powder, but that all comes to the same question of exploiting animals, right? So plant-based protein powder would have the same macronutrients.
You're coming back to the same point that you mentioned for me that we should like not choose the animal as number one product for our users. And we can replace them.
Yeah, exactly. So assuming that I give you some resources to help you with all this, right? Like to help you with your diet, would you consider going vegan?
100%.
100%. Oh my God, I like your open-mindedness, man. I don't see it often.
100%. Like really, if there is a good alternative that give me all the values that I can just take from the animal, as you mentioned for me, I don't mind that. It's even going to be much better for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then I'll pose this final question. I'll give you resources after this, but how many more animals should be exploited for you before you change?
How many more animals?
Yeah.
Can you specify your question?
Should be exploited for you before you change?
I have no idea.
You have no idea? How many do you want?
A lot.
You want a lot of animals to be exploited?
No. I want a lot of animals like to be safe. That's all.
Yeah. So you want
Maybe
zero
I didn't
animals?
understand your question 100%, but I'm telling you, like, in order like just to go 100% vegan, I don't know. Maybe it's going to make me a little bit wild. So maybe because if like I want to change my diet into another diet, for example, for food, maybe it needs me time so I can get used to the new system.
Let me just give you resources and explain to you because maybe that would be easier. So I'll just give you this.
What is this?
It's a card. So if you scan this QR code, there's a thing there called Challenge 22.
Yeah.
They hook you up with a nutritionist, send you recipes every day. They help you go vegan. All of it is for free.
Yeah.
So that sounds like something you can use. It helps you reach your macronutrients. It teaches you how to eat vegan.
Yeah.
Is that something like that would help you out? Would that convince you to go vegan?
To be honest with you, yeah, I think that would be helping me out. I'm a person who likes to try new things every day.
There you go. You just gotta subscribe to that, and that's it. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, I would be so happy to try that. Really.
Yeah, and it's at the end of the day, I'm kind of like you. I like change. I like understanding new things and seeing new perspectives.
Yeah.
And the reason why I personally went vegan was because because of the animals. That's why everybody goes vegan. It's because veganism literally means being against exploiting animals, and it sounds to me like your values are there. It's just that your actions don't say the same as your values. You see what I mean?
You know, sometimes like we live in a world like we get to do things that we're used to. I mean, I'm not vegan, but I was raised in a place that you should like have two options, like meat or like to go vegan or something like that. But I think as long as it will support lives and animals,
you can thrive
and
on
that
a plant-based
can
diet. Yeah, it will
really
support
can
you.
give me an alternative, which I really.
I go to the gym and
Yeah.
I go every day. Of course, you can get enough protein from it.
Yeah, I would be so happy for the change. I
Yeah.
would be so happy.
Okay, well, I appreciate that. Well, I don't even.
And,
If you tell me that you're gonna go vegan right now, well, not if you tell me. If you promise me that you're gonna try the Challenge 22, I'll give you a prize right now.
I promise I will do it.
Okay.
Like really, I promise. Because
Can you
it's
hold
so-
this?
Yeah.
Here you go.
Thank you so much. What is this?
This is a protein bar. There you go. I just remembered I have a nice protein bar on me.
This is like 100% from vegan.
Yeah, it's plant-based. It's high in protein. You get 20 grams of protein from it, and it's low in calories, and it's pretty delicious. I personally like it a lot. So.
I would try it. Like this thing is going to be my first step, I think.
There you go.
Thinking, consider it.
There you go. But you promise me you'll consider
Promise.
Challenge that too, okay?
I promise.
Okay, and on that card you have their thing called the most important speech you'll ever hear. Give that a watch, because you know, like I think we none of us know about dairy, about eggs, about all of this, what happens, and I think it's also important that you get informed.
Of
Okay.
course. And from me, I wish that you can spread your message worldwide. And I really appreciate the effort that you're doing. Blessed to meet you, my friend. Blessed to meet you.
You promise you'll try.
Love
Okay.
from Jerusalem, bro.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Have a good day.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
I heard that we can get all amino acids from plant-based food.
Yeah.
Some amino acids we can get only from meat. Is it true?
No, no. All 9 essential amino acids are present in all plant-based products, but some are present in different variations, right? Like if you were to take, let me say, put it this way, brown rice, I think is low in leucine, but you can take it from other sources. So, because whenever you're going to eat something, you're going to combine it. You're not going to eat from one place or another. But soy, for example, has all 9 essential amino acids, and it's a complete protein.
So that's not true what I heard.
Yeah, no, it's
Okay.
not. No, all plants have all 9 essential amino acids, but again, it's in various form. It's in various, like some amino acids are lower on some, but if you eat just like a normal diet, you're gonna get complete protein regardless. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks
No
so
worries.
much.
No worries. No worries. Thanks. I don't know. I just felt like incentivizing somebody, so I gave him a protein bar. I don't know if that was the right thing to do, but we'll see. We'll see. We'll see, everybody. We'll see. We tried to send. Hi.
Speak English?
Yes, English
Okay.
only. You
Oh
want to
my
try the
goodness.
social experiment?
Sure.
Are you
I
okay?
have to be on film?
Yeah, you're okay being live for my YouTube channel?
Sure. Wait, you have a channel?
Yeah. What's your
Okay.
name?
Tanya.
Tanya. Nice to meet you, Tanya.
Nice to meet you.
Let me ask you, Tanya, how do you feel about animals?
Oh, I like animals.
You like animals?
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about exploiting animals then?
I don't like exploiting them.
You don't like exploiting them? No.
But you know who you need to talk to?
Because I'm vegan.
You're
He's
vegan. Well, then I
yeah.
need to talk to you because you're not
Oh,
vegan.
no. I grew up on a farm. I'll
You
tell
go-
you the story.
Yeah.
It's probably going to freak you out, but no, we had a really personal relationship with our animals.
Yeah.
And so my parents would name them lunch and dinner so that I know, so we wouldn't get too attached. Yeah, I had a bad one though, because I had a pet and then it was gone and then we had steak. But I've gone vegan, I've gone vegetarian, I've done different things.
What do you think being vegan means?
I think it means not exploiting animals at all, right? Not eating them, not
It's
anything.
It literally
not
means
leather.
not exploiting them, and
Yeah.
of course, as a consequence, you don't eat their flesh, you don't wear their skin,
Mm-hmm.
you don't support exploiting them for entertainment purposes, right? Like dog racing, like
Mm-hmm. No,
horse
I don't
racing
like
and
that
stuff like
at
that.
all. Yeah.
Yeah. So in all those situations, you seem to align with that it's
Sure.
wrong to use them, but somehow for food, you don't. So why is it that for food you don't? 'Cause you acknowledge that we have alternatives also
Yeah.
for foods, right?
No, I do. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I do. I have. There's some right there. Like we got
Okay.
some today. And that's where we're going. We're going to go eat vegan food.
There you go.
So
That's awesome
so
to
the
hear.
question is why?
Yeah.
I think it was because the way I was raised on a
Yeah.
farm, mostly beef, and
Yeah.
then my dad was a fisherman too. So
Well, I was raised that way also, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I think most of the people on this planet were raised non-vegan because that's how we were. I don't know, just how
Except for
society
India.
is. Except for India, maybe
But
some
they,
of them
they
are
do
vegetarian.
dairy.
Yeah,
they do dairy.
And
so.
they do still exploit animals even for
Yeah,
dairy.
I guess so.
But
yeah.
if your values say that it's wrong to exploit animals, that aren't you going against your own values when you're buying animal
Oh my
products?
gosh. Yeah. Probably.
Yeah, because it's all about I think when I have these conversations with people, I like to tell them that you gotta ask yourself where your values stand, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because the reality is all of this is happening behind closed doors and you don't see it.
Oh,
You
I
don't
know.
see what that. Oh, you probably have seen it because you've
Well,
been on a farm.
no. Like I said, if I explained to you how we did it, it was not a factory farm. It was a one-off. It was a very personal thing. And so I won't go into it because I know that you would be offended.
No, I mean I've heard it. I've heard a lot of it. But regardless, animals get killed, right? Regardless, animals get. We control how they reproduce, right? Like I wouldn't think it's moral to do that to any human being.
No, exactly.
So why would I do it to an animal?
Absolutely. And
So-
yeah, I think an animal, even if they're for food, should have an animal life. Like our cows have pastures, that kind of thing.
Well, how is that justified? Just because you give them a good life, does that mean it's okay to take it away from them?
I don't know. Probably not.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know. Terrible.
Because you had a good life, right?
I don't know about that.
Is he your son?
No, but he's cute, isn't he? No, my sons have red hair.
Okay, no, because I was wondering, like, if you gave him a good life, would it be okay? If he had a good life,
Oh,
would
my
it be okay for
goodness.
somebody to take it away from them?
No, that would not.
No,
I
but
see your
we
point.
But
yeah,
somehow we see animals as less.
it's different. Yeah.
But is it really different? Because what is exactly that difference that justifies the difference in treatment?
Well, I could tell you that people think that they're not sentient beings.
But
That
they are sentient.
I know. They're doing more and more experiments about that. So. mhm.
Yeah, I mean, there's the Cambridge Declaration of Consciousness that acknowledges that all animals are sentient, or at least the mammals that
Yeah.
we farm.
Mhm.
There's the New York Declaration of Consciousness that does the same thing, and all of these are signed by Nobel laureates and people who have done extensive work
What
in
was
this
that?
field.
What was that name? Albert Schweitzer. Did you ever hear that story? No, he was having a dinner party and someone was complaining that there was no meat, so he stuck a duck on his chair, a live duck, and said, "If you want meat, go ahead." And that, so he was a proponent of such things.
Okay, so I feel like we're going around circles, and I want to
Yeah.
ask you, how many more animals should be exploited on your behalf before
Oh
you
my gosh,
before you
that's
make
a
a
terrible
change?
thing. None, really, right?
Go vegan if you want none, right? Because
Yeah.
whenever you buy an animal product, one animal is exploited for you. And I don't know if you're still living on the farm or no, but
I live in the city.
yeah. So even on farms where you live or where you, and those animals are still exploited. And like the whole concept of farming animals, like would we ever farm humans? Farming
I'm
humans
trying to
already
think.
sounds
There are
wrong.
probably exceptions to the rule. I could go into the whole Marxist capitalism thing, but
You mean
we
like
farm them for labor.
Oh, in that sense, too. You mean?
Yeah.
Well, we don't really farm them because we don't really like forcefully impregnate any human being, right?
No,
we don't
no.
Really,
Oh, I see. Well,
Yeah, we don't really control their environment, their food,
I'm
their
from
their
America. Yes,
reproduction.
they do. They're right now. They've taken away women's rights.
Oh, that is horrible. Oh my God! Don't even get me started.
And then they're
with that.
taking away diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Also horrible. Yeah.
And
I'm
the
sure
next
some people
thing
in
to-
the
I
chat will
know.
already
Yeah.
will already scream about it, but it is horrible. It is horrible. Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
both Americans.
You're
so.
both Americans. Yeah.
He's hiding from the Americas, though. He's over here for a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why are you vegan, by the way?
Well, I just educated myself. I did research on my own, and I decided that it was the best thing to do, and I do it. I did it.
Is it difficult to be vegan?
I mean, sometimes if you don't have resources, well, it's difficult. Yeah, or it depends on where you live, what food is available in in whatever city or country you live. It's difficult, so you have to move somewhere else to do it well, and so yeah, it depends on your circumstance.
Have you found it difficult? I feel like all of this is kind of speculative. That's why I ask. Have you found it difficult?
Yeah, times. Financially.
Financially? Why is that? I'm curious. Because like I for me it was actually cheaper to go vegan. So I'm curious. Why did you find it financially difficult?
I think it was because where I am from. So I was born in Puerto Rico. That is an island. That's part of the U.S. So there's no vegan options there. So I grew up with
Like
that.
no, you mean like no plant-based meats and such, but you do
Yeah.
still have beans, rice, pasta, right?
Yeah,
Stuff like that.
I used to eat that. Yeah, but it was meat basically. I was raised with meat.
Oh yeah, I understand that. Yeah.
And like importing those vegan options there, it's expensive. It's like in Hawaii.
Yeah, our food is way more expensive in the U.S. than it is here. Like,
No, I noticed that. yeah.
I picked up a bag of groceries and it was a decent size and it was a lot of vegan stuff, and it
Yeah.
was really cheap.
My sister lives in North Carolina, so I've seen
You know.
how I've seen how it is with the
Yeah.
prices. But I think like everything is expensive there. It's not just like
Oh, yeah.
plant-based products that are especially more expensive.
Rent, yeah.
Like kind of I know that meat is heavily subsidized and animal products are heavily subsidized in U.S.
That's changing under Trump, and so is big farming, like corn, wheat, and like
Is it
commodities. It's a shite show. Yes, it's going to be really bad. It's bad right now.
Well, I'm glad that they're no longer subsidizing animal agriculture now. That
but
you
they're
mentioned.
but they're not subsidizing plant agriculture anymore
Oh,
either.
okay.
That's
Oh,
the,
okay,
yeah,
okay. That is
everything.
not good. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, I mean, you know, I feel like because you said maybe it's difficult. I lived in US for 3 months when I was at my sister's place, and I didn't find it difficult personally. There were things that are a bit more expensive, sure. That I like, of course, you know, I think like always with whatever you do, you gotta balance convenience and economical issues, economical side of it, right? Because you might spend a little more money to have it more convenient, or you might be a bit more inconvenient and spend a little bit less money. That's kind of how I see it. And I think that if you find a balance where you're like, I don't know, convenient once a week or twice a week, and then all the other times you maybe cook in batches or do something like that, you can still make it work, and it's not necessarily that difficult. But yeah, it's. I do acknowledge that we do live in a non-vegan world, right?
Exactly.
They do make it a little bit more difficult because of that. But still, I bring it back to where your values lie, because we also live in a world, as we come and see more and more, that people, because of their skin color, because of their gender, they keep getting persecuted for it. And I feel like my values say that it's wrong to do so, and I will never participate or try to do that. And hence my values also say that it's wrong to exploit animals, and hence I don't want to participate and do that.
I agree with you, and I will be honest, is that when I am vegan, I lose weight, and when I'm vegan, I feel better, and when I'm vegan, I'm more compassionate as a human, honestly.
There
I
you
found
go.
that about myself. But anyway, but
So
speaking
you should go vegan.
I know, but speaking of vegan, we're going to go vegan.
You're
So,
gonna go, you should go vegan, okay?
Well, today we are anyway.
Today also, but not just today, okay? Because any animal deserves to live. And when you force an animal into a slaughterhouse, it's a pity. And you seem like such open-minded individuals, you know, like, you have a bigger responsibility, you know? Open-mindedness is not that often, it's rare. There's people who follow and people who think for themselves. If you're somebody who thinks for themselves, don't just follow what everybody does. Think for yourself, right?
Agree.
Okay.
Anyway, nice meeting you. What was
Nice
your name
meeting you.
again?
Chip.
Chip.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, I love it.
Okay. Thank you so much. Let me just give you a card before you go, because I'll also give you a little bit of a homework. Just scan this QR code and watch the most important speech you'll ever hear. You'll enjoy it, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you
Take
so
care,
much.
Chip.
Have a good one. Cheers. Chips are vegan, says Vegan Gaze. Hey El, nice to see you. Happy you're here. I saw that somebody donated for the protein bar. I think it was you. Who was it? Who donated for the protein bar? Thank you, but it wasn't needed. Most important speech you'll ever hear. Yeah, you should watch it. Jake Jimenez. You have it linked in the footer. Nick Liston, it was you. Thank you so much for that. Thank you for the support. I fully appreciate it. It was you giving the protein bar. There you go. I think she will go vegan. She needed this convo. I think it was a good conversation, yeah. Oh my God, Vintage 30 with the ridiculous questions. It's so funny, you know. Like, as I said, Vintage 30. I had this whole speech, and I think it was also specifically tailored towards you. You gotta stop trying to find excuses why you don't want to do something. Admit that you probably should be doing something, and try to find ways to do that something. Spend your energy trying to be better, not trying to find excuses why you shouldn't be better, okay? It's pretty easy. What do you think about Rufus then Chip? I don't know what that is. Were people before science immoral? I don't know how to reply to that question. I don't even know what that means. I'm gonna vertical stream after you. Gonna give it a try from home, says El. Hell yeah, El. Awesome. And everybody, if you're vegan and if you need a community, I should make a video about this. Awesome vegan communities. First of all, this channel, so subscribe, of course. Second, I mean, Vegan Gains has an awesome community. She's got an awesome channel, much bigger than me. And if you ever are vegan or curious about veganism and want to see a community, Vegan Gays, Skyjack Morgan. These are excellent communities, and they might tailor to your personality or your different ways of thinking differently. And my channel, of course, as I said. Great community here. Do you believe in absolute morality? If asked, yes, what is based on? I don't believe in absolute morality. I believe there are normative ethics. I believe it's pretty clear that no human being wants to be killed. It's pretty clear that no animal wants to be killed. So then why do it to them? It's pretty easy. I believe in the golden rule. Do unto others what you want done unto you. Or do not do unto others what you do not want done unto yourself. Aye. Is there somebody who denies the sentience of animals in this chat? By the way, everybody, I think we're having one more conversation and then we're going to go because it's getting colder now that the sun is going away. And if you're enjoying it, as I said, subscribe, baby, and hit that like. You will be seeing more conversations like this, and I will give out one more protein bar at some point. I don't want to make empty promises. This is what you're getting if you're subscribing. Conversations like this. And triggered people, you can come in the chat and see like triggered people like Vintage 30, who's triggered by the whole. I mean, Vintage 30, by the way, man, like you've been here for a while, you've been listening to some arguments, and you've asked questions, I've replied to your questions, you've had conversations with people in the chat, you have conversations with me, you've heard conversations with me with other people, and you're still trying to find excuses. I just asked you, and I'll ask everybody who's not vegan, you know, in the description of this video, there's a link to a 3-minute video. If you want to understand exactly what it is that I'm talking about, exactly where your values lie, perhaps watch that 3-minute video and ask yourself, is that really what I want to send my money to? Can I, because you can choose to not pay for that. So ask yourself that, watch that and ask yourself that. It takes 3 minutes. You, Vintage 30, have been in the stream for a long time. I think you've had watched that, you probably would have, I want to say you would have been further, but hey, not that I don't appreciate you being here, I appreciate you. Appreciate everybody being here, but just saying, 3-minute video takes 3 minutes. 3 minutes out of your time. A lot of people wanting to talk about abortion today in the chat, huh? A lot of people really have a problem, apparently, with women's rights for healthcare. Why is that? Why can't you just let them have body autonomy? We value body autonomy over here. Mark J has been a member for 6 months. Mark J, that's amazing. That is amazing. Thank you. Miguel says, if you live in an island, how do you survive if you don't fish? I mean, you know what? I'll tell you this. Being vegan means rejecting animal exploitation, rejecting the idea that animals are here for you to exploit or benefit from, as much as it's possible and practicable, right? So if you're in a situation where you would die otherwise, of course you might consume an animal or human. Hell, I'm on a deserted island, I'm stranded with somebody, and I will die if I don't eat something. I might kill somebody to survive. I might kill a human being to survive. Does that give me the right, or does that give me the justification to kill a human being every day? No. I can't say that word properly, so I won't say it. But special situations, I'll just put it this way, special situations should not justify common situations, right? Just because you're in a situation where you need, where you have a different need, where you have different availability, does not mean you can justify exploiting, killing, violence, abuse oppression, all this kind of stuff that you are supporting when you're buying animal products. As sentient, subjectively experienced beings, animals deserve at least the legal right to not be objects under the law. That is well put. I would completely agree with that. Oh, there's somebody who's bringing up China. There's somebody who's bringing up, well, the reason why I don't exploit animals is because people in China exploit animals. Why would I stop exploiting them if they don't stop? Imagine saying that. The reason why I don't stop, the reason why I want to violate the rights of women is because there's people in this world who violate the rights of women. Therefore, if they don't stop, why would I stop? Imagine this logic, just this. What kind of logic is that? Who cares about that? You can do it. Who cares if others can or cannot? That's what you gotta ask yourself. If you can do it, if you can choose to not participate in the Holocaust, in the biggest Holocaust we commit, if you can choose to not support exploitation, abuse, and slaughter, why would you ever choose to support it? Why? Martin says there's been a lot of illogical non-vegan comments today. Yeah, Martin. That's okay. That's what will keep happening. You know, we gotta power through, Martin. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's like that in the chat. I'm sorry. You know, that's why we do this, though, right? We do it to try to debunk all these arguments. I turned around the sign because there were two people with dogs. Now the sign says animal abuse should be legal. Let's do it this way. I even saw the bees argument. Sorry, the bees or the avocado argument. I swear to God, man, like one person, all it takes is one person to say one stupid thing once, and everybody will just follow what they say and believe what they say. You agree? If you're not vegan, you agree with it. Mm-hmm. It's funny because people who donated. Mark J. Humanity can. Mark J. Thank you so much. You're also a member. Humanity can consider itself civilized when it stops enslaving, torturing, and murdering animals. A great moral atrocity. Well said. Well said. Very well said. Ooh. Have any of us ever encountered someone like you trying to convince people to be meat eaters? Asked John Partridge. John Partridge, maybe you're new here and you just started, and I'll explain to you. I don't really care what people do. I don't really care if you want to eat whatever it is that you want to eat, if you want to wear whatever it is that you want to wear, or if you want to do whatever it is that you want to do, or get your entertainment from wherever it is that you get your entertainment. My problem is that when you make choices, or when you eat animal products, when you wear leather shoes, when you wear leather jackets, when you make these choices, these aren't choices that are solely made by you and you are the only one affected by it, but rather these are choices where innocent animals are exploited, are brought into existence for the sole purpose of being exploited. They're abused, they're slaughtered. And all of this is my problem. The problem is the animals. The problem is the animals, the exploitation of animals. The problem is the fact that these animals are objectified, enslaved, and treated like, well, objectified. So they're treated like objects. That's the problem. So, you know, it's not, again, about what people do. It's about I want to say the consequences of their actions, but Yeah, it is a little bit about their consequences of their actions and the fact that they choose to participate in a system that inherently depends on animal exploitation. That is a problem. Whew. Okay. It's almost no people on the street anymore, huh, compared to when I started. For every one vegan, there is 50 Chinese eating meat, says Tabasco. How does that morally justify you exploiting animals? How does that morally justify you forcing innocent animals into slaughterhouses? How does that justify you committing horrific acts of violence, of exploitation, of abuse towards animals? Oh, ignore that. Okay. You guys want to try a social experiment? I want to bring Chip to northern Kenya so that he can convince my people who are dying of drought on why they're exploiting their livestock. Oh, so how are the animals being fed? Huh? How are those animals growing up? Who feeds them? Oh, brother. Imagine that. Imagine using the plight of people from poorer countries to justify the exploitation you participate in when you're probably sitting on a couch with a phone, having access to a supermarket. Imagine how I don't know how to put it, because it's such a not bad excuse, but it's such a dick excuse to use the plight and the suffering of others to justify you creating more suffering, exploitation, and all this kind of stuff for its innocent animals. It's kind of a dick move. Just saying. I'm not calling you a dick. I'm just saying that's a dick move. Renee says moral distraction shows poor character and laziness. I don't know what that means. Moral distraction shows poor character and laziness. I guess that is a moral distraction, yeah. And it does show poor character, yeah, and laziness. Well put, Renee. Tariq says come to Kenya and visit North Kenya. Why, Tariq? How does any of that justify exploiting innocent animals? Do you have alternatives? It's as simple as that, man. Like I feel like everybody just trying to find excuses when it's as simple as that. Do you have alternatives? Yes. Then how can you justify choosing for an animal to be exploited and slaughtered for you? You really can't, right? And Tariq, I saw that Pia answered you very well. As far as it's possible to be plant-based, one should be plant-based. In a few places in the world, it is impossible. Pia said it very well. Being vegan means rejecting the commodity status of animals. It doesn't mean you might still require to kill, to exploit animals for your survival. It's sad to say that there's places in this world where that might happen. But that doesn't mean you need to treat them as commodities. That doesn't mean that you need to consider them as commodities. That means that you need to minimize that as much as you possibly can. It's complicated in certain places. It's complicated in certain situations. But I doubt that that's the situation where most people in this chat are. If you have access to a supermarket, I'm sure you can make it work. You want to try a social experiment?
I don't speak English.
Oh, that's okay.
Sorry.
No, it is exploitation, even if it's necessary. Hi.
What is the social experiment?
I just asked you some questions. You want to try it? Yes. Are you okay being live for my YouTube channel? Can you come over closer so that you're here? What's your name?
My name's Lorenzo.
Nice to meet you, Lorenzo. I'm guessing Italy from the
Yes,
name
it's
and the
Italy.
accent.
What's your name then?
I'm Chip.
Chip.
Yeah.
C-I-P.
Sure. You're the first person who actually knows how to spell it. Yes, it's C-I-V, yes.
And you're from?
Romania originally.
Okay, Romania.
But I live here. Yeah. How do you feel about animals, Lorenzo?
Animals?
Yeah. Do you have any pets, for example?
Yes, I have some cats.
You have some cats? Can you tell me something about them? What are they like?
Can you be more specific about this?
Yeah, like, can you tell me something about their personality?
Okay, I feel like my cat, I have several cats, but one lives in my house, and I feel like she hates me most of the time.
Okay.
Like, I can hug her, everything, but she looks at me like I done something.
Okay,
You know
what
I
about
mean?
the other cat? Is she different?
The other are more. I'm not very good in English, but they're more happy.
Okay.
Even if they are less sociable. Everything revolves around food. I can understand, but there is some kind of emotional attachment between species.
Yeah.
And historically, cats, dogs, and pigs, these kind of animals, social animals, are really attached to human society, and I think this is a beautiful thing.
Oh, I like what you're saying. So, because that's where I was going for, right? Like, when you said that you described two different cats, two different personalities, you said that you have some form of emotional attachment to them. Do you see them as members of your family, or do you see them as objects?
Not objects, not members of family, something in between.
Something in between. But let me ask you this: do you think that behind those eyes there's a somebody?
Very tough question. I don't know.
You don't know.
I don't really know.
But how do you see it? How do you see? Do you see that as somebody who has a will to do something or something not? Because the reason why I ask this personality thing is because it seems to me like there is, right? Because how would you otherwise describe the difference in behavior or the difference in personalities?
Most of it is like just instinct, but I don't really know if it's just that or there is something else.
So how do you describe the emotional connection then if you say it's just instinct?
It can be led by instinct.
Okay.
Like even us humans have some remains of our ancestors' instinct.
So everything they do is instinct, or do you see them playing? Do you see them having some will or something?
Even fun can be instinctive.
Okay.
So
okay.
it's part of them, of their instinct.
Okay. Okay, fair enough. Now let me ask you, do you think this applies to only your pets, or do you think it applies to all the pets? Like the fact that they have emotions, the fact that they want to do certain things. Do you think that applies only to your pets or to all the
to
animals?
every animal.
Yeah, okay. So how about the animals that we use for farming, for clothing, for entertainment?
Okay.
For food, do you think those animals are worthy of moral consideration?
I personally eat meat and everything and animal derivatives because I'm used to. Since I was a kid,
Yeah.
and nobody ever told me you shouldn't eat those kind. I don't think it's really.
But what do you think? Should you eat cats?
No, I don't think eating animals is morally right.
Okay.
But I'm so used to it that I could never stop.
Why is it morally wrong to eat animals?
Because human society in 2025 could live only from what we farm, like crops.
You seem to be.
Like,
Yeah, okay.
We could do that.
Yeah.
It's just about culture and traditions. Like from where I come, pork is fundamental for our society.
But do you think that these cultures and traditions really justify the things that animals go through?
No,
the
they don't.
exploitations?
But we are humans. We do that all the time.
Yeah, but we do that. We are humans. We do that all the time. The reality is, we are humans. We do that all the time. Most of the times, we do this kind of stuff when we're either unaware, we don't have alternatives, or there's always some form of complicated exploitation behind it, right? Like you buy a phone, down the line, sure, there will be some form of exploitation
Yes,
happening.
of course.
And it's difficult for you to conceive where to buy the phone that doesn't have exploitation. Most of them will have some form of it. But with this one, as you mentioned it, it's pretty easy, because if you would choose to go plant-based, you would never exploit animals again. You would never put animals in those situations.
Mhm.
And you don't seem to say that traditions or culture are a good enough moral justifier for this. So then your values are in line, but your actions say otherwise.
Yes, I think so. Allora, some friends of mine, they live in farms which produce meat and milk and cheese from the animals they farm in an ethical way. So
How
they
is it ethical to farm animals? Is it ethical to
it
farm
could be
humans?
with the right conditions.
Could it be ethical to farm humans?
Not humans, but
So why is it? Why could it? Why? What's the difference between humans and animals that say there can be ethical farming of animals, but not ethical farming of humans?
because if I take care of an animal in an ethical way, such as maybe a cow,
Can you take their life then? Does that ever become moral because you took care of them? Does that mean you can take their life?
I think so.
Why? And why does that not apply to humans?
Because we are different.
What's that difference?
Maybe a cow would live less if it's not in a farm. So you make them live more.
I mean,
more
so would a child, right? If you don't take care of a child, they could also live less, because that's why children need care, right?
But like,
Would that morally justify you taking the life of a child because you took care of them?
no, I think it's different with animals.
What is the difference?
Like, I don't know, but I think it's okay to farm cows, sheep.
Why?
goats. In nature, they wouldn't have a very, very different life. It's the same in a field which is
Same could
inside
be
a
said
farm.
about a human being, right?
No. We need more space. We need more stimuli.
What if there's an intellectually challenged human being who doesn't need more stimuli, who has the cognitive abilities of an animal?
It's
Would it be
different
okay to
because,
use them to farm them?
species cooperate with other members of the same species, and not between species.
They
It's
cooperate in between species also. There's plenty of evidence of animals befriending other animals.
But in general, maybe a cat would never grow a little dog.
Yeah, but I think the reason why cats and dogs don't really get along perfectly is because animals, they don't use communication like we do. They use a lot of body language, and I think the body language between cats and dogs is different. But if
Okay.
you were to discuss the relationship between a cat and a lion, let's say, who probably have similar body languages, do you think that they cannot be friends, or they could not
No, they could,
look
but
after the same interests?
I think we are going outside our.
I mean, I'm just want to understand what is that difference between an individual, like if you could choose to exploit an individual, you don't know their species. Why would you assume that it's okay as long as they're not your species?
Like exploiting human labor is different from, let's say, milking a cow.
Well, a cow, in order to be milked, what has to happen?
What?
Well, in order for a cow to be milked, what has to has to happen?
The cow needs to be pregnant.
So, do you think do you think farmers forcefully impregnate them, or they decide, or
No,
cows?
no, they forcefully do that. But the life of
So,
a cow.
doing that to a human being, would that be okay?
Okay, I think it's different. Humans and
Wait,
cows.
raping a cow versus raping a human being. What is the difference? I think there's still a victim involved.
Okay, it's a victim, if we want to say so.
They
but
would still feel it.
It's less of a crime.
Well, legally, but morally?
Morally, I still think it's less morally wrong.
Because
It's
they're
still
your
wrong.
species, or why?
Because it's my species and because humans are different.
What's the difference? I keep coming back to that.
I don't really know. I would say for.
So if you don't know, maybe there isn't a difference.
I don't think so. If I don't know something, it doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
No, but you can't seem to be able to name that difference. It's not like I'm asking you what's the difference between a proton and an electron, or what's
Okay,
like,
okay.
I'm not trying to ask you about.
biologist.
But I'm trying to say that I'm not trying to ask you about questions that require extra knowledge. I'm just trying to understand what your reasoning is, because if you don't know what the difference is, if you think there might not be any difference, or even if you think there might be a difference but you don't know what that is, don't you think you have the responsibility to find out what that difference is? Because otherwise you're saying that your values say it's okay to exploit one but not the other. You know, racists say the same thing for individuals who are part of their same group. Racists say these people are white, Don't
Okay.
exploit them. Don't do anything to them. These people are black. They're not part of my group. It's okay. We take care of the ones that are in our group. When we discriminate based on race, it's wrong. When we discriminate based on species, it's just as wrong. There's still characteristics that nobody chose to be born. Do you think a cow chose to be born a cow?
I don't know, but you cannot put the racism and speciesism on the same level.
It is a form of
it's not-
discrimination.
it's not on the same level.
Why?
Because humans have a more elaborated brain.
So what if a human being was born with a less elaborate brain? Again, cognitively impaired.
It's not the norm.
So what? So again, that human being, would it be morally justified to exploit them? According to your own logic, you can exploit an individual if they have a certain complexity to their brain. We find a human being who has that complexity, and according to your morals, it's okay to exploit them because that's the logic that you have
No,
for
we
your
don't
morals.
do that because we feel attached to humans in a way we don't feel for animals.
But okay, so then you talk about the value that you place on them, but let me ask you, do you think that matters? Because I have zero value to you, just like you have zero value to me.
No,
Would that
no.
morally justify for me to kill you because you have zero value to me?
No, I know you're a human and this is a starting value. If you were a cow,
But isn't
I
that-
would
but
not
again,
kill
that
you
this
on the
is-
spot.
This is again
anyway.
just a convenience because they're your species. A white person could say the same thing. I know you're a white male, therefore I would not do anything to you. You value to me. If you had a different skin color, you might not have the same value. Because skin color is just something that comes from your DNA. You're born with it.
Still, I don't think it's on the same
same
level.
species. Well, it is. It's just a random categorization, isn't it?
No, I don't think it's random.
But you can't seem to find any logic behind it.
I'm not really prepared on this thing, but
I'm not. It's not about being prepared because it's not a me versus you argument
Okay,
over here,
okay.
right? I'm sorry if it comes up that way. The reason why I pose these questions is because I want you to think about them. It's not that I could pose these questions so that they become a gotcha, so that you have to respond back to them, right? I just pose this question so that you think about them. Because do you really think there is a difference? Because we still discriminate on them. Like if you were in the shoes, did you choose to be born human?
No.
No, but were you to be born a different species, you might have suffered a different fate, right? If you were born a cow, you would be already dead because you're male. The male cows are killed. And the same for your cat. Like, let me ask you this for your cats. You don't eat cats, right?
Mhm.
What's the difference between a cat and a cow then? If you don't want to compare humans, compare cats to cows.
It's history.
It's just
because,
history, but history could also-
historically, the difference is set by history, human history.
But history just means that we've been doing it this way for a long time. Do you think
Yes.
that just because we've been doing something for a long time, it makes it right?
No, I agree with you with the fact it's not right.
Yeah.
Because of logic, morals.
Yeah.
But I think it's not that bad that we stop eating meat tomorrow.
Well, it's not that bad because you're not in that position. But do you
Yes.
think that to that one animal who gets put in a line to have their throat cut, to that animal who gets raped and then has their baby stolen from them, to that animal that has their babies killed for them?
Yes,
For that, do you think it's for them? It's not
mass
urgent
killing,
or bad?
Like industrial way of getting meat, like intensive farms. Those are really crazy
But what I
examples.
described isn't even only in industrial. It happens in absolutely 100% of animal agriculture. Breeding them only to be killed is something it's the start of animal agriculture. Raping them is the start of animal agriculture. Killing animals is the start of animal agriculture.
I have taken care of cows and goats in the mountains, in the farm I told you earlier, and I didn't feel like they were being exploited. They were living their lives.
How many males were there in that farm?
None.
None. So what happened to the males then?
They must have been killed
Hey,
before.
there you go. So is that not bad?
I don't know. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, yeah. Like I believe it's bad. I believe like you are male, right? Like imagine somebody killing you because you're born male. Is that not already a form of discrimination? Let alone species. Like there's just like and regardless of this form of discrimination, because that's not why they do it, right? They do it for profit. They do it for money. They do it for their own benefit. They literally treat animals like objects. And you may say it's not so bad in those situations, But in all other situations, and there's plenty of them, they are treated like objects. They are, like the minute any of those animals on that farm, the minute they no longer bring profit or money, they get killed.
But think economically. I know it's wrong, but every country in Europe, in the world, has come si dice domanda? Domanda. Demand
Yeah.
for meat.
Yeah.
Everybody wants meat. If you
Yeah.
go to the store, you have to find meat because then the store sucks.
Yeah.
So there is an economical problem added to the moral problem. I know it's wrong, but I cannot imagine a world with not meat.
Just like if you were born 200 years ago, you probably couldn't imagine a world without slavery, right? Slaves were doing almost everything for them. To imagine a world where people would have to be paid to do what slaves do would have been unimaginable back then.
Yes,
But yet
yes,
yet we did it because we realized it's wrong to base our society on slavery, to base our society on this. And I think we're in the same place right now, where we base our society on something that you alone say it's immoral. But regardless of what society chooses to do and what individuals choose to do, you got to ask yourself what you want to do. Because if you think it's wrong to do so, then why participate in it?
I think in the future maybe animal farming will stop. If us humans will still be here, I don't think we will be here on Earth for
That's a
so
different
long.
thing. That's a different thing.
But
Okay.
if everything goes well, I can imagine animal farming will stop.
Yeah.
I will not do anything to stop that because I don't feel it's the problem. I have to focus myself right
But
now.
you don't have to focus it, right? Because at the end of the day, I feel like you make choices for yourself, right? When you eat, when you buy products, you make
Exactly.
the choices yourself.
Exactly.
Nobody's forcing you.
But-
So why not choose differently? Because you can occupy your time thinking about all the other stuff, but why not, when you're making these choices, choose differently? In fact, you would have more mental space and available if you were to choose differently, because you wouldn't have to think, what am I doing? Because every time you buy an animal product, you may have to think that what you're doing is doing something wrong that you consider wrong, is exploiting and killing an innocent being, kind of like your cats, kind of like yourself.
I agree. I still agree, but I don't think it's that wrong to think of it. Maybe it's for my education, but when I buy meat, I cannot imagine the animal.
I think you see it as wrong, but I think because you don't know exactly, or you don't see have you seen what animals go through, by the way?
I've kind of seen it, but
Do you want to see it? As I have footage on me.
No.
No.
Like my friends in Brazil, when they have to eat meat, machete,
Yeah.
1, 2, 3 shots, and it's that.
It's not nice, is it?
It's a tradition. It's not a nice tradition, but it's what they have.
Yeah, but like all of these traditions and things that we've built along the way in our humanity, it doesn't mean we should continue doing them. I mean, the tradition of, as you said, like that animal being killed, I don't think the tradition is about killing the animal, but rather perhaps meeting afterwards and eating together, right? You can still maintain that. You can still maintain the core of the tradition, the beauty of it,
Yes, I agree.
without
I
having
agree.
to exploit and kill of these animals. And I understand you say that it's not that important to you, but I think that I think it's not that important because you probably don't even realize how shitty it is. I think if you were to put yourself in their shoes for a moment and actually realize what they go through, it is extremely shitty. And maybe you don't do that often enough, but maybe it's a start for you and you should start doing this more often. I don't know.
It's been very interesting.
Yeah, because like I personally, you know, I think I kind of was like where you're at some point, but I don't know. I personally enjoy speaking about morals. I enjoy questioning my values and understanding myself and my values and why things are the way they are. So I like to question things. I like to understand things. And that's what got me to be vegan, because I questioned, why is it that it's okay to kill one animal but the other one not? Why is it okay to kill a cow but not a cat, according to my own values? And it's fucked up to kill both. That's the reality. Why is it okay to exploit one but not the other? It's wrong for both. And then the more you realize, the deeper you think, you realize we are just animals. We all humans are the same. We only place different values on them because we created a society, and our values are kind of have a baseline now with what the values of society are. But the reality is, at the core of it, we're just animals, and we deserve just as much as animals do, as all the others do. We all deserve to not be exploited.
Like when I think about becoming a vegan or vegetarian,
Yeah.
I think like my mother made me a fantastic dish with meat.
Yeah.
Why would I say, mother, don't do that?
But if your mother made a fantastic dish with cat, would you eat that?
No, it's not the example I wanna bring.
No, but like
I often eat
but the
at
reason
my
why-
friends' home when they cook you something. You cannot say I don't like this because it's full of meat.
But it's not about you don't like this, right? Like imagine if your friends, if you were to be Muslims and your friends were to cook pork. That would be
Okay,
disrespectful
okay,
to
I
you and
understand.
your values, right?
I
If your
understand.
values say that it's wrong to exploit animals and your friends say, well, I cooked this for you, or your mother says, well, I cooked this for you, then they're not respecting your own values. Like, you know, but you need to stick up to your own values also, because I don't think your values should be contingent on what people think of your values, because then you will always just be the person who you are according to the group you're in. If your group is a group of racists, would that mean your values change to a group of racists? If your values are a group of people who think have different values, does that mean you'll have different values?
I don't know, because the two the two. I've
You're doing
spoken
great,
too
by the
much
way.
English.
You're doing great with your English.
Like,
it's great.
there are two levels of morals.
Yeah.
Like the level we put racism here is here, and
Because everybody says that it's wrong.
no, because they're people.
The only reason why racism is wrong is because you've been taught from an early age that racism is wrong, and because
No,
society
my parents
is,
are racist, actually.
But society says that it's
My
wrong.
family is really
Oh,
racist.
sorry for that then. No, but like I think the only reason why racism is wrong is because everybody agrees that racism is wrong. It's like this whole thing. Yes, sure, there still are racists in the world, but everybody agrees that racism is wrong because we can easily identify with the other human being and says, hey, it's kind of wrong to be in that position. But it should be wrong. Any other form of discrimination should be wrong. Sexism should still be wrong. I would argue it's a little bit more difficult for you to put yourself in the shoes of a woman rather
Yes,
than the
yes.
shoes of a person with a different skin color. But that still doesn't mean that you shouldn't consider that worldview from their perspective. So in that sense, I'm saying, okay, well, maybe it's a little bit even more difficult to put yourself in the shoes of a species, in a different species, but you should still consider their view. And by the way, when I mean put yourself in their shoes, I don't necessarily mean what would it be like to be a cow, right?
Yes.
Because it's impossible for us to realize that. But what would it be like to be in that situation where there's somebody who has power over you, who they take care, who brings you to life, they say they take care of you, and at some point they want to kill you, and you don't understand why, you don't understand what's happening. You just understand that they want to kill you, they want to exploit you, they want to use you. You see what I mean? Like that's the situation where you have to put yourself in. Is that really a situation where you would think it's fair towards them?
No. I have to reflect. No.
I understand you have to reflect. Can I give you some resources to help you out with this?
It's articles online.
You also have articles, but it's mostly just a video.
Okay.
So if you scan this QR code, you get the most important speech you'll ever hear or Dominion.
Okay.
I urge you to watch the most important speech you'll ever hear. It will help you with what it's kind of like the same conversation with Hab, but it goes deeper into dairy.
Is this your
eggs.
channel?
Yeah, this is my channel, and you
Okay.
also have
Oh,
my
very
channel.
nice.
Yeah. And I urge you to reflect and look more into it, and don't take too much time, because when you buy animal products, animals get exploited for it, get slaughtered. And how old are you, by the way?
I'm 18.
18. Wow, you're very young. I'm 37, and my biggest regret in life is not going vegan earlier, and it's only that when that click happens in your brain and you realize how fucked up it is what we do to them, then you realize, holy shit, I should have done this earlier. I should have looked into it earlier. Don't regret. Don't
I
end
have
up-
a vegetarian friend.
Yeah.
I will talk to her.
Talk to her, but vegetarians, they're
They're-
still in the same bucket.
They are kind of
because they still
different.
exploit
Okay,
animals.
okay,
Okay?
okay.
Like vegan, it's literally about the animals. It's not a diet. It's literally a moral
Okay,
position
okay.
where we respect
Yes.
animals. You see what I mean?
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Lorenzo was it, right?
I don't remember your
Chip,
name.
that's okay.
Chip. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chip.
Promise me you'll watch one of those videos.
I will watch this.
Okay, I appreciate you.
Okay. Is this okay?
Well, yeah. Either you just gotta scan this QR code. The most important speech you'll ever hear. You'll enjoy
Okay.
it. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Have a nice day.
Have a nice day. Ciao, guys. Bye. I think that was a pretty good conversation. It was an interesting conversation. It was with a person who, I think that's sadly kind of the perspective of most people. And by the way, I think I'm done. That's sadly the perspective of most people. Whereas, like, I'm sorry, everybody, I messed things up. Give me a second. Can you guys still hear me okay? Yes, okay. That's sadly, as I was saying, that is sadly the perspective of most people. It's a perspective where we kind of think that it's wrong, but we don't see it as that wrong. That actually is a very, that's my assessment of the perspective of most people. I'm not sure if that is true, but that's kind of my assessment. Yeah, as Elle says, it is sad. Yeah, to be honest, I don't think I was going anywhere with this person, and we were just going in circles. He was listening. He was engaging with the argument, and as he said, he does need to reflect a little bit more, and I agree with that. He does need to reflect a little bit more. Sadly, you know, with some people, all we can do is plant seeds, right? Exactly, Lewis. But we'll hope that those seeds make changes. You know, we hope that they sprout, that they become different things. And you know, all of you people watching, I hope you got something from this. I hope you got something from this conversation, from this whole stream, because you know what? I know we all have been taught one thing our whole life. That doesn't mean that it is the right thing. And you can easily just check, had you been born 100 or 200 years ago, you can easily know that there are shit on atrocities that you would have been taught that they were okay, and you no longer think they're okay. So that just tells you the fact that just because you've been taught something does not mean that it's okay. It just makes it a little bit more convenient for you. It just makes your mind think in a certain way. But please challenge that. For, like, if you consider yourself at least a mediocre intelligent person, you gotta challenge these kind of stuff. You gotta think for yourself. Don't be a follower. Don't just be a person who, well, I've been told this way, therefore I'll do it for the rest of my life this way because I've been told one thing this way. No, you gotta change your mind a little bit. We live in a world where adopting to change is important. I'm also telling you, for your own sake, adopt to change, learn, think for yourself. You have resources in the description of this video to help you out with this. And, you know, what can I say? You can also drop by here every once in a while and have conversations with us. Every vegan person, every animal rights activist is welcome, and we all want to help you discuss your values. We all want to help you realize to live up to your own values. We all care about animals. We care about humans. We all show compassion. We show fairness. At the end of the day, we just want a better world for everybody, you know. So consider it. Please consider it. Please look into it. Please think for yourself. And if you enjoy this conversation, no, really, I mean, I don't want to change my tone, because that's kind of where my tone is at right now. It's a little bit sad, right? It's a little bit sad to see such... I think he was an intelligent person. He was 18. It's a little bit sad to see intelligent people like that be, you know, in this position. It's a little bit sad to have conversations with people on the street, to have conversations with people on the street just to get them to think a little bit more. It's a little bit sad that people in this chat, there's people in this chat who have stuck around for a lot of the conversations, who have listened to arguments, who have discussed arguments, and still they refuse to change. It's a little bit sad. So my tone is a little bit sad because of it. But nevertheless, I appreciate each and everyone for being here. And as I said, I hope you got something from it. I hope you come back again. I hope you have subscribed and come back again, because, you know, I will do this more often. And every time it's a little bit different. Every time there's a little bit different people and everything. I hope you've enjoyed the content. And I hope if you have, hit that like. Thank you for supporting me, for everybody who has donated. Thank you for all the moderators for having an amazing patience and dedication. I really appreciate that. And thank you for absolutely all the vegans in the chat who have been typing there, who have been giving resources, who have been helping out, who have been discussing arguments, repeated and repeated arguments, because that's the reality of it. If you're not vegan and you come up with arguments, you're just gonna come up with repeated arguments. I'm sorry to tell you. That's the truth about it. Any argument that you think, have you ever thought about? Well, reality is, yes, we have. It's constantly we've had thought about it. Every person I speak to, people who have seen me have noticed that every person that I speak to kind of repeats the same arguments over and over and over again. Because they're kind of the same arguments. That should already get you thinking. If you have kind of the same arguments, if you have kind of the same logic, doesn't that mean maybe there is something there that you should change, that you should challenge? Challenge it. Think for yourself, okay? So again, yet again, vegans who have helped out, people in the chat who have helped out with the arguments, who have discussed with everybody. Thank you so much. We really are a team, you know. I sit here, I think personally, I think my job is easier than anybody who's in the chat. So I appreciate you so much for doing that. Yes, sure, I sit sometimes in the cold. Yes, sure, it is what it is. Some people, not all people are nice. But it's not easy also to deal with everybody in the chat. So thank you so much for doing that. Thank you so much for being a team, for being part of the team. It doesn't mean he won't change later on, says Renee. Renee, thank you again for the super chat. The third super chat, thank you so much. I don't know exactly what you mean that it doesn't mean he won't change, but yeah. It doesn't mean that people will not change, okay? So, people, I forgot what I was. I lost my train of thought. You see, you interrupt me a little bit and I lose my train of thought. I really do appreciate everybody for being here. As I was saying, I appreciate all you vegans for having patience. And as I said, we're a team. And yeah, let's continue this fight. Let's continue this fight together. We need to end this whole animal agriculture, animal farming, treating animals like objects thing. We all deserve fairness. We all deserve moral consideration. We all deserve to have body autonomy. You know, we all deserve that. All of us, including animals. So if you're not vegan, go vegan. If you're not vegan, watch the 3-minute video. It's in the footer. It's in the description of this video, and maybe you'll get something from it. Maybe you'll see a glimpse of what animal agriculture is, and maybe you'll think, there's no way that is happening. There's no way I'm paying for that. And then maybe you start looking into it and you realize maybe that's what it is. That's what happened to me, by the way. So I was also in denial. I was right there with you. But you get over it at some point and you realize how messed up it is and you want to fight for it. So that's where I ended up. I'm now fighting for it. So yeah, look at that. Oh my God, Marcos, thank you so much. Everybody keeps donating now at the end. Thank you so much. And Tabasco says there's no war on animals. You know, there is no war on animals. That is true. We didn't really make a war on animals. And the reason why there's no war on animals, it's because we don't even consider them worthy of war. That's the sad reality of it. We just see them as objects. I know we say, no, they're not like objects, but they are treated exactly like objects in animal agriculture. And if your values say that it's wrong to do this to animals, if your values say that it's wrong to kick a dog, I'll say it again. If your values say that it's wrong to kick a dog, why would it be okay to kick a cow? It shouldn't. Why would it be okay if it's wrong to put a knife to the throat of a dog for something that is optional to you? Why would it be okay to do that to a cow? It shouldn't, okay? So, thank you for sticking with me. Thank you for being here. Thank you for subscribing. Please subscribe some more. Let's get more conversations. If you found some of the conversations better than others and you want to drop them in the comment section below to tell me which one it is, I want to start cutting conversations. But either way, I appreciate everybody for being here. subscribe, hit that like, as I said before. If you're not vegan, go vegan. Yeah, stop with the excuses. Go vegan. Watch the information you have in the description. If you are vegan, do some activism. Thank you for being here. When are you back online? Asks the vegan plant. I hope tomorrow, but it depends on the weather a lot. Tomorrow the weather is going to be, the temperature is going to be higher but wetter. So I'll see. But if I find a period where it's not that particularly wet or I can do it, then I want to do it tomorrow. If not, for sure on Friday. Yeah, that's it. We're done. We're done, everybody. Thank you for being here. What microphone is that? This is a Rode mic. Yeah, if you by the way, if you ever want to do activism and you don't know how to do it, you contact me on Instagram. I'll try to respond. I think I have some messages on Instagram that I haven't responded to yet. I will do that. But yeah, contact me on Instagram if you're having difficulty, if you're having questions about veganism, contact me. Drop a comment here. Other people might respond to you if you want maybe a faster response. But either way, you know, you're not alone in this. We can help you go vegan, so go vegan. And we can also, I don't know what to tell you. We can do all this together. We go become activists, be vegan, be activist, all that thing. I've said enough, okay? I'm starting to to have too long of a speech and blab, whatever. Yeah, thank you so much, everybody. I'm tired also. Thank you so much, everybody. I hope to see you soon. Hit that like, subscribe, notification bell. I'll see you soon, okay? Thank you, everybody. I appreciate you so much, okay? Bye, everyone. Forgot to click that X.